Sound.
Our film team was a bit behind. Welcome to Barcelona, everyone. Sorry that Bob and Simon, you guys couldn't make it. It's unfortunate, but we put a lot of last-minute energy, as usual, into getting the streaming set up. So hopefully, it's going to work a little bit better. We can't hear you very well right now. We're still missing a speaker, but if you have any questions. You can use the hand bot. So this is for Simon and for Bob. Just type exclamation point raise to raise your hand, and then we'll have the LED thing turning here, we know that there's a question for you. So that's that. Any questions so far? Nope. Okay. So there really isn't a whole lot to talk about. I'll give general updates on everything when we actually get started with the state of the project's presentations and everything. So I think it'd be really good to just do the session to figure out what the topics are. And how did we do that last time? Where, I mean, now that we've basically blocked our whiteboard.
Do we have another whiteboard?
There. Right there. So let's pull that one out. And Radio, would you be opposed to running this session?
I mean, as long as anyone can understand what I write, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, better than what I write.
No promises about that, but I can try.
Let's just
maybe
before releasing it.
do we want
The other way?
Yeah, okay, start.
It's probably double-sided. Like so.
Yeah. Do we have a place to put it?
Sorry.
My lap.
Then we need someone to write.
No, I mean,
Okay, cool.
like, do we have a, can you give me a marker?
Oh, yeah.
Don't care about the color.
we need a second camera so it's going to people can see. Okay.
This right now, later possibly.
Okay.
Okay, so,
I think that's fine.
the way we usually do this is any topics that are currently, did you break something?
No.
No, okay. Any topics that are currently on the wiki, we can write down. Can anyone check what you have in there?
Sure.
I think it's very short.
Yeah. Well, one is OAuth. OAuth meditation.
Is this about talking about it or is it about pilot? Okay, so yeah, Rob?
Genres.
Napkins?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really the topic we're talking about, just don't have napkins, right?
Okay.
Genres we need to talk about.
Sure. More topics? Anyone?
MetaBrainz local. This is a hack
It'll
session.
be local. Okay.
Yeah, that's a hack session.
So,
Yeah, that's not a general topic.
Okay.
so any general topics left in the list?
Policy regarding use of AI-generated code by contributors.
Yep.
Policy regarding
AI use.
AI policy. Okay, so this is basically the whole summit, I think. Okay, what else? Anything else? In the actual list?
No, nothing on else here.
So now it's time for people to say what they actually want to talk about. I see a hand? You're
No,
thank you.
yes, yes.
I mean,
I'd like to do a hacking session for MetaBrainz API.
Let's get to hacking sessions later, so let's start with speaking.
MetaBrainz roadmap. For
That'll be a roadmap, okay. That'll be a roadmap.
MB homepage, is that what we're talking about?
Which homepage?
MB?
MB? We can? Okay.
Oh, I want to talk about the spam brains.
You were thinking about that. Okay.
That's going to be a short summit.
I mean, if it's a short
Plenty of
summit,
time to do hack sessions.
Yeah,
if it's a short summit and a lot of hacking, that's fine, but yeah, let's see. Is there any book print stuff?
I was going to say book cover art archive. Is that a,
Book cover art
I don't
archive.
think there's much to discuss, but
We can quickly. Do we need to discuss for stuff in general, like backups, things like that, or you don't need? Yes. I mean, you're
What's the
back-
question?
Like, do you want to discuss anything about cover alternatives, backups, things, or no?
We can, sure.
Okay. Okay. More topics? Have we fixed everything already? Like, what's going on?
How about the spam accounts in MetaBrainz? Are those taken care of?
Well, like, SpamBrains is there, which is kind of
Okay, well, okay.
kind of similar topic.
Sure.
I mean, the topic might be we're not doing that, we're doing something else in the end. We'll see.
I think I'd like to talk about the MB, the DLB mapper.
MB to LB map.
LB mapper.
LB map.
Yeah, LB to MB mapper. The new version. Talk about it a little bit and see if we can help out with some more test cases.
Perfect.
So is there
No sysadmin
some
topics?
hosting that we need to talk about?
We can talk about the gateways and the way we define the architecture, but I think it's more like a
Hacking.
yeah, I can see.
So is the new gateways the permanent replacement topic for genres? Because
Yeah,
we're always building new gateways.
Let's small steps after small steps.
Yeah.
We need to fix what we didn't fix the last time. So,
Okay.
I mean, I guess we don't have anyone doing
perhaps when
apps this time, so there's no one to talk about phone apps today.
Well, yeah, I mean, Judge Jay will be joining us at some point, so,
Sure. But I mean, that will be organized around when he can, I assume, so we'll see that separate. I mean, if we're done with this, I'm sure something else will come up at some point, so.
Yeah, but the goal now is to actually put these into sessions.
Sure,
that
I
interest
know.
people, so.
I know.
We don't have a whole lot there. Very short summit.
Okay, last chance to give more ideas.
I was thinking about the iOS app.
I mean,
Yeah.
what is the thinking about?
I mean, the problem with the iOS app is like, we just need somebody to actually say like, I am the iOS app person and I'm gonna go do it. If that's what you want to talk about, I'm definitely interested in hearing that, but ultimately we're basically lacking that person. And, Upshot is kind of working on something and, Judge is just doing too many things already, so we can't really expect him to also work in the iOS app, so.
I understand we have basically like a hacking session plan anyway for the whole AI scammer scrapper thingy, right? We don't need to talk anything about it, it started. Okay. Anything for Picard? No? Well, I guess that's it what we have for now. We can think about this and tomorrow we can do a quick, did anyone remember anything new?
I mean, for Picard, we should have a Picard 3 finalization session, but that's more for
That's again a hacking
a
thing.
hack session.
Okay. I mean, I think that's a good spot to be on if we have like a few topics to discuss and a lot to hack on, to be honest, so that seems good to do as well. Okay.
Can we go over the list quickly?
Yes,
Yeah.
so we have OAuth, genres, AI policy, LB roadmap, MusicBrainz homepage, SpamBrainz, alternatives for the art archive if something happens, and LB mapper. Anything else?
It feels woefully incomplete, but I can't remember anything else that needs to be on that list.
I feel exactly the same way, yeah.
Yeah. Very
I
strange.
do have, so one thing that is more of a hack session is setting up some spam protection in Matrix, because that's wide open right now. The other thing would be planning what my end of year project is going to be and what's going to work there, but I'm not sure if that's an everyone thing.
I mean, I'm sure we can all tell you what to do, but that's going to all be different things, so I'm not sure it's going to work. Okay.
Notifications.
Oh yeah, that's actually a good point.
What?
Notifications.
What's that about? What's
You'll be,
that about?
you'll be notified when.
MetaBrainz wide notifications.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Got it.
Yes. Notification.
So
Something we've been wanting for
yeah,
15 years.
Honestly, yes.
you know, people don't use email anymore, so. Okay, so
No, so in these on-site notifications, right? So kind of the way Google has like a bell icon and that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah,
So
because-
every one of our sessions have the same sort of icon, and when you enter it, it pulls up.
yeah. Anyway, so unless someone has any more ideas, we can start seeing how many people want to talk about what.
Okay.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Oh, who wants to talk about that? Okay. 5.
We should get the input whether Simon or Bob are interested in this, because that will determine how we schedule it. Do we schedule it
Sure.
organically?
Can some-
I will share the list of I have.
Oh, okay. That works too.
Can you show us what
Yes, absolutely. So that's the. Why am I doing it like this? I'm here. Okay. That's the list.
Way more legible than mine are.
If you say so. I feel sad for your writing. That's more legible than. Anyway. Everyone done?
Yep.
So, 5 genres. Who wants to talk genres?
I was mostly kidding about that topic.
Okay. I mean, do you need book genres?
Yeah.
Okay.
probably
good.
gonna
And
have-
actually, we should talk moods.
Should talk movies?
Moods.
Oh, movies.
Typically with you as
We
well.
can talk movies.
So, okay. 3.
Yes.
AI policy. Sadly.
Yeah, that's pretty much all of us. Does
No.
AI policy also include our AI protections of the website? Anubis, that sort of stuff?
No, I mean, I was thinking that would be more of a hack time, but we can also talk about it and if people have
I think
new ideas. Okay.
It would be good to have a plan that we make on the plenary so that the hackers
Sure.
can actually get the town.
AI protection added. You can mention that the AI protection as an extra topic.
AI protection.
Yeah, like Anubis or whatever.
And Philip, you and I might be interested in doing remember how we did auto tag or improving
Yeah.
that a couple of years ago and it wasn't very great? It was like, it showed potential.
It showed potential. We should do something around that line.
The new mapper now, basically, if we have a cluster in the card, we could just make a request for each track.
Yeah.
And from there, we shouldn't get that much information, so I think we might be able to play with that and see if that works.
Yeah.
It could be really fun.
We should do some playing with that.
Yeah.
But currently for Picard, the most important thing is that we get a
Yeah,
alpha
yeah.
version out and
No,
get
This
loose
is
ends
this is
cleaned
more
up.
important. This is
Voting
something
first,
else here.
getting excited later.
Sorry?
Voting first, getting excited about things later.
Sure.
Okay. LB roadmap.
That's pretty much the whole LB team and then anybody else who's interested
5,
in
6,
contributing
okay.
to that.
MusicBrainz homepage. Yes, it should be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. SpamBrainz. I'm gonna count you as full because I started doing it with Roman numbers for some reason and I don't know how to do decimals. I think I've gone to mass classical editing again. Alternatives for the art archive.
It's not so much alternatives, it's more alternatives for backups, but
8. Okay. Not sure if I'm counting one guy. LB mapper. That's 7. Notifications.
and Ansh should be on this one.
Yeah,
Your hands
he
would
is.
be great.
Before we put something on the side, BookBrainz some mini kind of.
BookBrainz?
Specifically interested in sort of mini BookBrainz.
Oh, I guess that, I mean, we'll have breakout sessions later,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we will figure it out. But yeah, we certainly should have one.
Yeah.
AI protection. I want both of you on that for sure, so like, you better raise your hand.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, 7 again.
And for aerosol genres and LB roadmap.
Actually, I thought of one more topic.
Yes.
GSOC contributors. Like a lot of things to talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
JSOC then from now. Okay, so I don't know what you want to talk about, so it's hard to vote on it. But
I mean, like, so the quality of the contributors this year, about that, and like how to get better contributors, or like in case GSOC goes away, other programs,
Okay.
and yeah, other things around it.
Okay. So JSOC contributions. Okay. I mean, we'll talk about it anyway, but yeah, that seems like a good late topic anyway. Okay. So are we done now? Any more late minute ideas? Last minute ideas, late minute ideas. Okay.
I'm sure we'll have more tomorrow.
I'm sure we'll have more. I guess Bob is around actually. Any? Okay. Don't worry about me when schedule. Then I guess we'll have to discuss this. Okay. So then we are starting with AI policy, and then we can put the rest for a second day.
We also need to figure out
Well, we have all the
state of the
state talk before, I guess, right? Starting with state talk as usual.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So after that we have AI policy, archive alternatives. Then we have almost everything with the same amount of votes. So we can decide as is, like LB roadmap, homepage notifications, AI protection. Then LB mapper and MetaBrainz, or generals and GISO. Anyone wants to take a quick snap, just in case?
I got it.
Oh, yes.
There we go. Oh, I was like, okay. So
You were like half in there.
works for me. All my lack of head is
Maybe sort of show it to.
yeah, but wait, can you send the
Yeah,
picture to the
momentarily.
just send the picture to MetaBrainz and that's it. Okay, so that is that. I guess we start with state of MetaBrainz for now.
Well, I mean, ultimately, yeah, we can do that, but we need to actually make a schedule so that, I mean, Bob doesn't seem to want to participate so much, but we need to make sure that Simon and the tasks that he wants to be in on are scheduled so that Simon can actually
Okay, so
attend.
Simon was generous and LB roadmap.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's the right time for him?
You wrote something?
I think close to 2 is, he said.
Close to R2 p.m. or as close as possible on any given day.
Okay, I mean, if we want to do a session specifically for him, we could do it earlier in the morning.
That's also an option.
I
That's
mean-
probably- I've seen these people try to wake up at 9 for breakfast. It did not work very well, so not that early.
But yeah, I mean, obviously not, but I'm thinking like 1 o'clock. Right? Huh?
Early in the morning, like 1 o'clock. Okay.
I didn't say early in the morning, I said earlier. So, I mean, Simon, what do you think about that? Yep.
Okay.
So let's go with this, and then, food needs to actually be either after or before that tomorrow, so
Okay.
adjust accordingly.
Sure. So then LB roadmap and cameras, let's leave it for tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
Well,
so let's
morning.
start making a schedule.
Okay.
So tomorrow, yeah, somebody good with tables on the wiki to actually start
Yeah,
making
that's what it is.
a set of sessions that we can break out into, I guess, 2-hour blocks with 15-minute breaks appropriately. Does that seem reasonable?
Do we need to add
So-
blocks?
Hmm?
Do we need to add blocks?
If we need to add blocks?
No, I mean, do we need to add long blocks?
I don't know. I mean, we were trying to prepare a schedule so that Simon knows what the hell is up.
I mean, like, it will probably move a bit in the end, but
Right.
let's try not to move it too much, and that should be fine.
I mean, at this point, I see that Simon cares about those 2 topics, and Bob doesn't seem to really feel to be able to participate. So we only have that one session that we really need to schedule, and then the rest we can just go as we want to, I guess. Am I hearing that right? Okay, so then we're scheduling one session for tomorrow from 1 to 3. Where we talk all the sessions that Simon cares about. So, and if anything else comes up and Simon wants to be in on that, then let's actually shove those in that 2-hour time slot.
Okay, so Simon, any more suggestions of things you want to talk about? Just make sure
There's quite a delay, so
we can wait until.
he will answer.
Yeah,
them.
when you just write it.
He's
and
trying
there's no
to do
delay.
it.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, Arizona, that's on the list for you.
General moods on the list. So yeah, for tomorrow, early then general moods and LB roadmap also. You put it already?
Yeah. It might also be good to do notifications because that also has a design component.
That is fair.
Question, is anyone noting in the table?
Well, like, I think someone was working on the table. Yes?
I do.
Okay.
You are, okay.
Okay.
So other than that, do we try to schedule the rest or do we just see how it goes? See how it goes. Okay.
And, we'll see when people complain about things being scheduled properly, and then we'll schedule them.
Okay, let's do state today and then we can
Yep.
see how the rest goes.
Let's take state of ListenBrainz for tomorrow.
Because you don't have anything to.
I'm still working on the slides.
You do realize that how that works, that you sound like you're listening to the rest and then you're quickly putting your slides together at the same time.
Yeah.
That's how I got through high school.
And everything else.
Well, not quite so. My high school for sure.
Okay. So, I think it's your turn then.
Thank you. So, how do we put the Zoom view up here?
Just alt tab into the window.
Are these are separate screens?
Yeah. Just drag it to the left, I think.
Well, basically, the main thing is that Zoom at one. We are doing it.
Okay.
And Canvas moves. And everything else that probably comes.
Actually, what I need is my presentation.
Never mind that. To open that in the browser, in the Google Drive. That requires someone to sign in.
Yeah, it's signed into Jade at MetaBrainz
Yep.
right now.
Okay.
I'm set for that.
Okay. If we want to put the slides on the stream, it's the display source. Slides on the stream. Where's the mouse? Here's the mouse. Display capture. No. Screen 2. There we go. So that's just showing that screen.
Okay, thank you. Okay, right, all right. Welcome to Catalonia, everyone. Our regular summit spot, and I was hoping to not have too much rain or heat, and yesterday we had all the rain, and now we got the heat. Righto. Okay, so let's start off with MetaBrainz finances for 2025, which is always so much fun and quite stressful for me. So, they're boring. They're completely boring at the moment. It's flat. There's, we get a customer, then there's like, yay, we get a customer, but then on the flip side, some of the customer exits, right? So for every customer we get, we lose some. We're basically just simply treading water. There's not much else we can do at this point in time. There are some unicorns, some fairly large corporations and interesting corporations that are looking at our data. I think you two should just move this way because like we can't make everything work. So, but these unicorns are doing really long-term evaluations. They're like, oh yeah, we're a big corporation, so it's going to take us a year or two. We're already practically a year into one of these guys. And there's other companies like, oh yeah, we're going to sign next week, and that was January. So basically, the finances are safe. Right? They're solid, but we're not growing as far as income is concerned. For instance, we lost Music Choice, that was a unicorn, so that was $1,500 a month, but we picked up a company, Link Play, and a couple of other ones, so we're just treading water. But as usual, we have about 11 plus months money in the bank. We try to shoot for 12, just a little bit under that metric, but still, that's nothing for concern. And for those who don't know what that means, 11 months money in the bank, we will be fine for 11 months if everyone stops paying us right now, right? And that's very unlikely to happen, unless the dollar crashes, but I'll get to that. So hopefully that we'll be fine for a fair amount of time. And I should say, this is the most job security I've had pretty much ever. Because any other corporation would just like, oh, we don't like the look of it anymore. You're fired, right? But here I can actually look in the looking glass and I can look at our finances and it's just like, we're safe for at least a year, probably two, right? So that's kind of a nice feeling. But at the same time, and this is typically happens when there's economic turmoil. That's when the market is going down or people are losing jobs. There's always going to be somebody that says, okay, now's the time to go start a startup. So we're getting a lot of inquiries from people making recommendations, a lot of inquiries from people making AI stuff, a lot of inquiries from people making AI recommendations. I don't actually expect any AI company to actually ever give us any money, So, it's just fucking AI companies. So I'm looking for 2026, and there are so many questions on the horizon that I just cannot really look in the crystal ball and make any sort of predictions as to what might happen, right? When you ask the board of directors, hey, what do you guys see? And you just get this collective shrug, like, it's fucked up out there, we don't know what's coming, right? That's challenging. So, the things that really, really screw us, and not just us, like a lot of open source organizations and just like companies in general are going to get screwed, but if there's a serious uptick of inflation, right? So we weathered that one inflation wave, and that was super stressful for me on pretty much all of last year to get that done. We got over that hump, but if there is another wave of inflation, I've used up all the slack I've got to go and try and squeeze more money out of the companies we do have, right? So not a great condition to be in, but this is not actually really on us. The entire world is sitting in this sort of situation, right? Some other companies might be less impacted by rampant inflation. For us, it's pretty bad. The other thing is the crash of the dollar, right? There's a lot of signs on the wall that countries like China adopting the dollar for their reserve currency. And the EU is very much interested in picking up some of that slack. China will pick that up with the meeting and all of that. But the fact of the matter is, and I'll talk about that in a second, we have more of our money coming in dollars and our obligations are in euros, and that's just a mismatch that's troublesome. The crash of the USA is also, at this point, a fairly decent reality. How does that go? Don't know. Well, we can see the fracture lines already starting to appear. Like, for instance, if you're paying attention to the entire debacle about the vaccines in the US, Washington, Oregon, and California have already said we're going to go build a vaccine enclave and we're going to do our own thing when it comes to vaccines. Which is great, but it's the first sort of sign that these states are working together and then other states are going to band together. And pretty soon the whole thing kind of fractures apart. It's the only way that you're going to get out of this, right?
Optimization time.
And where does that end, right? Can California come out well on this? Okay. It could be really bad if Trump just decides, like, fuck California and just, I don't know, send a couple of nukes or something like that. I mean, he's fucking that insane, right? We don't know, right? So these are the things that I'm completely powerless, right? But I'm stressed about these things, right? Be happy that you don't have to stress about these things. I'll do it for you guys, but this is petrifying.
Can you talk about what you discussed with Leo about moving the organization to Europe?
I have a specific point on that.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, these are real possibilities of global consequences, right? We have, if the US crashes, holy fuck. Right? We're going to see a recession that we've never seen before, a global recession we've never seen before. And how we come out of that the other end, who knows? And the biggest problem is like, well, we're a charity, we're open source, people will help us. How many other charities and open source projects are going to need help in the same lines, right? So, fortunately, we're rather quite important in the internet for a lot of companies, so that gives us a leg up, but, being able to keep our team if the United States crashes, who knows? Right? So I'm petrified by this stuff, and I think I'm actually going to go ask The Economist if they have a cheaper subscription for nonprofits, because at this point that is the only news source I really trust, and I need to be reading it more. So conclusions for 2026 are continue to stay in save money mode, which is more or less what we've been in for a number of years. In the last board meeting, when I was talking about that I wanted to go unicorn hunting and with an attempt to go try and be able to hire Kellner and let's go knock Soundcake, and the whole board of directors basically said, well, that's actually not us, right? That's really not how we do things, right? And we don't really want to go down that road and start chasing them. But the board has offered to help to basically do some back channel work, and slightly off topic, the Soundcake has actually been thinking about becoming a customer, right? So now the board is like, let's just hang back and see if this actually comes. We have some really good board members, in particular Hazel Savage. She just has, she knows everyone, right? When I have a question, it's like, does anybody have a contact, blah, blah, blah. She's like, yeah, I'm chatting with them right now. I'll get back to you in a minute. Absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. But if the board says don't do that, it's a good reminder. I'm getting a little bit desperate with this. So the board says, let's be nice. And if the board says don't go after these and then eventually have a strong case about going after them, the board will do it and the board will help. Because the board will then apply pressure and say, like, call people up and so forth and say, like, hey, you guys are not being good community members, can you step up, right? So the downside is my hands are tied. I have even less ability to try to drive more revenue, so it's frustrating.
Could you maybe give a short overview of who's on the board and who the people are?
Sure. The board, the people listed on the MetaBrainz webpage, right? So the oldest board member is seniority has been around since 2004. Is Cory Doctorow, and he is. I mean, if you know the term shitification came from him, and he's just doggedly protecting this organization. And if I even think about doing something in a slightly wrong direction, it's just like, go. So amazing to have him on the team, and he's also really, really sharp and really well connected. So amazing. We have Matthew Hahn, who is ex-Last FM, and has been giving Kartik, Monkey, and I master classes on Last FM. So we have questions like, what did Last FM do? He would go like, oh, that'd be so and so. Let me set up a conversation, blah, blah, blah. And then a week later, we have a Zoom call with that person, with that master class person. It's like, oh yeah, let me dust off slides from 2003, here, blah, 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 blah. That's the conversation with Norman Custer. It was just stellar. So he taught us so much. So Matthew Hahn, great person to have on the team. Rasami Hawk Lundberg is a fantastic woman. She's Swedish, Thai, speaks British, and is a former marketing manager in marketing and communications manager in London, and is well connected in the music scene in London. Let's see, now we have Hazel Savage, who is most recently of SoundCloud and is now actually starting her own business. And she is ex-Musio and ex-something, something, something. She is just a force of nature to deal with, and she's in Leeds in the UK. Something else, somebody I'm forgetting now, always keeping track of the whole team. Paul Benham, who used to be working for a content producer for the BBC, and is now in Los Angeles. And it was funny, he said like, oh yeah, I just became an American citizen, like days after Trump was elected. It's like, oof, rough. And he's also heavily involved with the music scene in LA, and is another great person to just talk to and have him just go like, oh yeah, I can make a connection for you to make it. Lovely, really great team of people that are keeping me in line, and so just for knowledge sake, they are my boss, right? So they are the ones that basically say, yeah, do this, don't do that, yada 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 yada. So they're.
Did you have Nick already?
Oh, thank you. Yes, we also have Nick Ashton Hart, who is he creates like promotion companies, and he is just an animal for the music industry, right? So if we need connections on the rights society sort of level and so forth, and this really sort of tedious licensing stuff, he's our go-to man. He's also fantastic for helping us out with running sticky situations. So, do I have everyone now?
I think you have.
Okay, good.
Apart from the secretary, the last time I wrote.
Oh yes, our secretary is Rio, who's doing really fantastic board notes. They are just really, really good. So the board is functioning on all levels and is making me very happy. Okay, moving on. Unfortunately, Kelnard, I can't hire you. It's just, could you go back and do another degree? We're talking 2 years? I mean, seriously,
I certainly have other options at university or...
Yeah, I mean, I would love for you to be part of this team. I think you know that, right? But I can't make it happen right now. So if you can just bide some time, and then if the world doesn't actually burn down, maybe in 2 years' time we can make it happen. If these unicorns come in, right? I mean, with all the uncertainty, I would want to stack a little bit more money than usual for the future before I hire somebody. Because I don't really want to go hire you and then have to let you go in a year or 6 months. That's less than ideal. So I really want to be able to do something where I believe that this is going to work out. So let's talk in a year or two. Keep me posted on how things are going.
If we cannot commit to hire someone, a new person, can we consider having like community, like one-shot sponsoring community members on specific tasks?
To have short contracts to sponsor community members? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like very involved community members like David, like saying, for 1 month we sponsor you on doing this project. Would that be something you'd be interested into? Because it's not a stable employment. You certainly will look for an employment elsewhere. So you don't have to say, yes, I will do it. You can't.
I guess the stuff which I'm doing right now, I'm doing it anyway, so.
Right, but you will have more free time to do it if we are able to. I think it will be fair.
I mean, that's not a bad thing to put on the table. The thing that really makes me very hesitant to hire somebody is that it's an obligation, it's a permanent obligation, right? But if you're missing, I don't know, 3 months of money out of your university work, and you want to stuff those 3 months, like, I can easily find 3 months. That's not a problem at all, right? Maybe you and I should talk a little bit more during the summit to see the level exactly, maybe there's some way to make things work a little bit better. Not sure.
I was just going to say, if it can be scoped to a project and a specific time length, software and time fund tends to fund those sorts of projects.
Okay. It's good to know.
Yeah, if a case can be made to them, that's the type of thing that they will fund.
Okay. All right. Onward. So for looking for raises, which is always one of the budget increases, and it's a permanent budget increase, right? So again, anything that's a permanent budget increase makes me scared. I have absolutely no idea where we'll be come January. So let's table that one for now. We'll see. So the outlook is extremely dicey, but things are just very, very even keel right now. It's just like almost boring. So there you have it. Any questions on our outlook for 2026? Okay. Now, more detailed look about the uncertainty in the United States for elections. Yeah, so what the fuck is going on and how does it impact us? So there have been a number of rumors that the Trump regime is going to go after nonprofits and smack down a bunch of nonprofits. That probably ended up being a rumor, but I know there's some organizations that you would recognize that are nonprofits that are headquartered in California that are currently packing up shop and moving to Canada. That's one thing I still need to check out, if going to Canada is actually a potential option for us. I don't understand the structures very well, but supposedly the Canadian government is looking at the situation saying like, oh, there's a bunch of really interesting tech companies down there that are looking for a new home. Maybe we should create a new corporate structure to make it easy for them to come to Canada. And I would be all over that if there is some clear path to go from there. With regards to moving, I'll get back to more of that. So what the fuck is actually happening? Unless you have a crystal ball, and the crystal ball is not going to predict Trump's wins. So the only thing I really have power to do is like, as soon as we get money, I just move it immediately to Wise and immediately put it to the euros, right? I consider the euro to be fairly stable currency at the moment. I do not trust the dollar. The dollar is slowly eroding, and if a crash comes, that's going to be really problematic for us because most of our customers are in the US, and we are a US organization, everything's denominated in US dollars, right? All of our obligations, not all of our obligations, but most of our obligations, except for Bitmap and our Indian contributors, are euro obligations, right? So if the dollar crashes, and now money comes in and it's worth a quarter of what it used to cost, well, our European obligations are still the same high expense, right? That will be a significant problem for us. So again, if that crashes, and that's a reality that could happen tomorrow, right? That's petrifying. So I talked about that, and it's really, really hard to just go to all these companies and say, hey, big American corporation, cool, thanks for doing business with you guys, but I'd like to change and rewrite the contract in euros, please. I don't think I'm going to get very far with that. That would be an extreme uphill battle, and it would take a long time to get there. So that's the only thing I could do to insulate us from this. But it's, you know, if the dollar crashes tomorrow, I don't have a solution for that either. Okay, now the question is, could we move to the EU? The answer is yes. No cost us. So I engaged lawyers to find out, and fortunately it wasn't terribly expensive. It came well recommended, and one of the comments was like, yeah, we've had a sharp uptick of inquiries about moving to Belgium in the last few weeks since Trump was elected. So we're not the only people on this, but a lot of people are looking at this. The governance structures in Belgium are very good for open source organizations, right? They're very good. You have to have a royal decree, like the king has to sign, or the queen, Rio? King actually has to sign off on, you know, an open source, or a new non-profit being created, which is kind of mental. And they have a very good structure for this, and there's a lot of organizations that are moving there, and it's well set up. There's only one problem. It's going to increase our costs by 25 to 30%, which then basically means if we move to the EU, we have to cut 25 to 35% of our team. Okay, so I asked, like, can we avoid paying VAT? And they said, oh yeah, there's ways for you to start avoiding VAT. I made one crucial mistake. I actually said, hey, can we not charge VAT and not screw our team? Because literally what they suggested was like, oh, well, we just structure the organization so that you don't pay VAT, and then you just push the VAT obligations off to everyone else. That's you, all of you. The lawyer told me to screw all of you. Right, and basically cut your paychecks by 21%.
He's a lawyer.
I should have cut his fucking bill by 21%. So this is not viable either, right? And I kept being one of these questions in the back of my mind, and you know, my board of directors was like, yeah, we kind of know where this is going to go, but we understand that this is something that needs to get out of our heads, so engage the lawyers and be done with it, right? Now we have a professional opinion written on how this could go and so forth, and the answer is just pretty unrealistic. So, you know, not happening unless somebody points a gun to our head. I have this secret fantasy that at some point the EU comes and says, like, we really need to be an EU organization. I'd be like, great, give me 25%, or grant me a complete VAT extension, and we can make it happen, right? So that's a wet dream. This is not reality. But maybe there's something that I need to share with you guys on that in a minute. Anyways, stay put, fingers crossed, keep vigilant. I would request of all of you, if you see some economic, I don't know if any of you guys read economic news and so forth, I do, but if you see something that sounds particularly fucking scary and is legit, share it with me, please. Like, the sooner I know about these sorts of things, I mean, my hands are tied in a lot of things, but I prefer to see, you know, really scary shit coming rather than being surprised by it.
Is the GSOX Mentor Summit happening in Europe this year?
Yes. That's another topic.
Okay. Because we can probably exchange with other organizations.
I fully intend to do that. Somebody remind me on that. Like, actually, we need to talk about that because there's. Is it certain that you can't get a visa?
I'll try from France.
Sorry?
I'll try a tourist visa from France. That's the only option I have.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about that in a minute because if Ange is the next person, since he's new on the team, he's the next person to bring the Mentor Summit. But he's fighting visa drama, despite having a visa here, right? But hopefully when Ange returns from this trip, then the visa companies will see and say, oh, okay, you've returned. That's how what worked for Kartik, right? But Kartik also didn't get a visa for the Mentor Summit. So, but that basically means I got accepted on the wait list, which is through the chocolate table. I always get randomly selected very early on, which is lovely. But that basically means our official delegate is currently unassigned, right? Rio has never gone, and has been a mentor a bunch of times, so the first right of refusal will go to Rio if he wants to go. That's a Munich, right? If Rio doesn't want to go, we'll pick somebody else on the team that hasn't gone before, right? Or that has least recently gone. But we need to settle that with Ange first. Okay, onward. Okay. These slides haven't changed much because I love you guys. This is fucking amazing, right? We have an amazing team. And we're kicking ass, full stop. We continue to kick ass, and now people are pouring into ListenBrainz. And the number one complaint with ListenBrainz is, I imported my stuff 30 seconds ago. Where are my recommendations? And I was like, okay, I'm okay with that. We need a big fat guy that says like, you just imported your shit. Wait until Monday.
I just merged the PR to add a one-liner about that.
Thank you. Is it big for?
Or we can just make it
It's not
instant.
big, but there was already text there
Yeah, but
that
like-
people didn't bother to read, so I just made a one-liner
Please.
shorter one.
We've also been not more cohesive than this. Just also the fact that we have so few topics that are on the schedule that we need to talk about actually says that we're on top of our stuff. We don't have a giant backlog of things, and we're effectively moving things forward on a lot of fronts. And in particular, I'm really happy that I'm not in the center of everything. There's so many times where, Monkey will talk da-da-da-da, and you will talk da-da-da-da-da-da. But that's fantastic, right? There's so many organizations, and, when you hear Jazz Jay talk about working with ultra humans, it's like everything's like line of command, and yes sir, no sir. So having a team that just like gets things done, and I get emails and it's like, thank you for ordering a new server from HitServe. It's like, oh, who's that? So I'm really, we've never produced this much stuff. I mean, at the moment there's a bit of a lull because we're working some background stuff, but new stuff is going to come out and it's going to be quite good. New data sets, we're finalizing a bunch of new data sets. So absolutely, thank you to all of you for making this happen. Amazing, right? And the song is unchanged from last year, except for that comment. So, music industry is obligatory to kind of talk shit about the music industry in a slide, so let's get that out of the way. It's all about AI, right? Sue and stop AI and get as much money out of AI companies. And the government of the US has kind of shifted to really be focusing more on the AI companies. They've always been protecting the content companies, right? So these two are now like really at odds with one another. But Anthropic just lost a big case and they can pay for the data they've been using. That's a very interesting precedent, but
It's also counterbalanced by the fact that they just got an investment right like a week before that judgment of like 10 times more than they had to pay.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course, that's how it goes. Spotify is focused on nothing but money, and Daniel Ek is very happy to invest in warfare stuff and so forth. And Spotify is currently, their main efforts are to make music for ghost artists. There are session musicians, and session musicians are musicians that get hired. Like, I'm hiring you for a session, and you're going to go play this instrument, yada, yada, yada. You get no rights, no royalties, nothing, right? These people are, they're getting fed, but they have no royalties or anything. So what Spotify does is they work very hard in shoveling all of the shit data to people, and they have specifications of what this music should be like, right? There's this tiny little hole in one of our playlists, and then they go to the musicians like, it needs to be this shade of boring, that shade of boring, yada, 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 yada. And then they plug that hole, and they have metrics as far as like what these playlists and how they're performing and so forth, with the single focus of reducing the revenues that they have to pay to the artists. That's their single key focus in the entire company, right? Did you know that all of the narrative that Spotify puts up about like, we created this company to always have music at the right spot, da 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 da. No, it's all made up. It's all bullshit. That origin story is just complete crap, right? What they did is they created an advertising company. And they said, oh, we should have some music. Oh, this seems really popular. And he's like, what do you mean we have to get a license for the music? Oh shit, we're gonna get a license for the music, right? Spotify. Fuck, what a bait and switch. I used to love those guys, but no, it's all about money, and it's all about screwing people, and it's really ugly. Shove shitty music, da 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 da, takes them make money and create war. Thanks, Daniel, good guy. Anyways, onward from that depressing topic. So last year we did quite a bit of push around getting donations to come in from ListenBrainz. Thank you, Monkey and Punch, and Simon worked on all of that. The only thing we didn't do is actually attach proper metrics to it. So we don't really know if the money came in. I mean, basically, so our tax filing, our accountant for 2024 said like, oh yeah, your public support test has moved 5% in the right direction, right? So, I have a graph for that. I'll show you the graph in a second. Donations are generally up. It's kind of hard because they're not normalized, so it's hard to see in the graph, but what we really need to do is we need to figure out some way to track if somebody is making a donation and they've got sucked in from ListenBrainz, or they got sucked in from MusicBrainz or something else. But right now, we didn't actually make any way to track whether all the work that Monkey and Anj did was useful.
I think we could get all the donations and then compare that to ListenBrainz user, and that would give you something here.
Yeah, there's other ways that we can do sort of on the back end where when a donation comes in, there's metadata we can send along with the donations that comes back up the other end. That would be the right way to do that. Okay, so I pulled all of the, and you can't get QuickBooks to do this, right? I actually have to do this from our own webpage where we're collecting our own donations. So this is not 100% accurate, but it's reasonably accurate, right? So these are the cash donations from 2022 to today. And it's really hard to tell because we have these donations that come in at the beginning of the year. I think I mentioned this before, where there are investment companies that are trying to reduce people's taxes, and they'll go to the their clients and say like, you need to ditch $50,000, put it into nonprofits and so forth, and then we can reduce your taxes by $100,000 or something like that. And they're like, okay, cool, where do I get my money? So, don't worry, just take a couple of boxes of where to send the money and we'll send it for you. Right? And then $1,000 check arrives in the mail. So-and-so is donating to you. No address, no nothing. Right? Just take the money or leave it. It's very weird. So sometimes it's like $3,000 that come in like this, with no strings attached. Not so much here, some there, right? So it's odd, and it's just hard to separate these things out. But what you can see is there's, I could draw a line in here if I had more time, but it's kind of going up. Right? And so you need to have a chart where everything goes up and to the right. There's my chart that goes up to the very slight right? But I think we moved in the right direction, and with ListenBrainz, more people coming in, I think now we're actually at the point where actually to see the uptick of donations coming. Any questions? Okay. Our projects. There's not so much new and so forth, but talked with Kartik a couple of weeks ago. We're now getting about 1.5 million listens per day, right? Of course, this is a lot of people importing their last FM collections and so forth, because obviously we don't have that many people submitting listens and so forth. A year ago, there was about 1 million listens. So that's pretty significant uptake on data coming in. And Discogs is just, it's also a lot of shift as selling CDs becomes more expensive and is less important. I hear Discogs less. People talk about it less. I do hear people talking more about MusicBrainz and how important MusicBrainz is. So when you're looking at sort of the meta perspective of the narrative that's going on and so forth, it's leaning in our favor pretty strongly. And I'm very happy for that. Oh, and I should have said this. When the stream is off, remind me I have something to say about Graysnow. Talked about the ListenBrainz ingestion, that's doing well. I'm really looking forward to the OAuth 2 implementation where we just have this very clean face of MetaBrainz and not like MusicBrainz, MetaBrainz, OfficeBrainz, and all these other things. I really can't wait for this to happen. I also implemented a web page for a completely separate part of my life where we're using MusicBrainz as an OAuth provider because people are like, I don't want to log in with Google, I don't trust Google. Right? And then Kirsten, of all people, said like, well, can you just make a login with MusicBrainz? I was like, yes, I can, because people trust MusicBrainz, and they trust me to write this other website. So I just realized I created an entire little ecosystem where people can trust and would log in with us and so forth. But our login system is a big wonky, so I want to make sure that I'm pretty sure that your work is already better that you've done for MetaBrainz. So. Okay. Cover art archive still going strong, and now we have backup. We have a session about the backup, but the backup is It took a long time, but we didn't run out of disk space, and we should be fine for the immediate time. I didn't actually really add BookBrainz to this particular, is it BookBrainz? AcousticBrainz? Yeah, I mean, AcousticBrainz isn't doing much in the monkeys.
AccountBrainz is the suggestion.
Oh,
Yeah.
AccountBrainz. Okay, thank you for everything. Let's keep fighting the good fight. Don't get depressed. Let be my job. Right? Let's just keep going. We're doing everything right. There's one more thing I want to share. And this one's actually positive. So, a couple of years ago, or a year ago, the European Union granted a grant to an open source organization, I forget the name of it now. But the goal was to raise the awareness of European open source contributors. Because right now everyone's got this impression that open source happens in Silicon Valley, which is patently false. There's a really, really bad narrative. Like, bad open source happens in Silicon Valley. It's abandonware, shove something over the fence, go deal with it, right? And Silicon Valley doesn't do open source very well. And we look at our team, how many of us are Europeans, right? Like, we have a strong European base, right? So they created the European Open Source Academy, and 3 people were given initial awards and inducted into the ceremony, and one of them is Lydia Pincher. Does that name ring a bell? Of course for you. Lydia Pincher, who is the head of Wikidata, works at Wikimedia Germany, and is probably one of the most powerful women in tech. Completely under-celebrated, but she's incredibly powerful and well-connected. Also has been leading KDE and is involved with FOSDEM, might still be involved with FOSDEM. And next Tuesday is going to be a meeting, ironically enough, here in Barcelona, where this entire organization is going to meet again. And JB from Videoland and the creator of Arduino, Daniel Steinberg, who created curl, the person that created the Matrix system that we're using, and I'm forgetting a couple of other people, and myself will be inducted to the European Open Source Academy. This is a big deal for me. This is a really big deal for me because I've lived in the United States for so long. I sound American, and a lot of my ways of thinking and whatnot were American. And I've been spending the last 12 years shedding layers of being American, getting healthy again, and adjusting my mindset and so forth. And I feel like in the last couple of years, it's like, yeah, I'm European again, right? And then to actually have this come in where I'm going to be part of it, like honored for being a European contributor is just like, I'm European. This makes me incredibly happy. So there's one trick, there's one tricky aspect to this. I've been asked to provide a profile picture. We have been looking for an acceptable picture of me for days. And it's just like, weird shit, like, doing weird shit in Delhi and so forth. It's just like, oh, for fuck's sake. So Zaz, could we get together at some point during the summit and you take a retractable profile picture of me? But Simon wrote a blog post. It's up on the blog right now. It's in draft status. And there's also the leading picture of me that's supposed to go in there, but I can't put a picture of me as a leading picture in there because this is not about me. This is about, well, yes, I'm the leader, but really it's about you guys, right? Because I couldn't do this without all of you guys. I just couldn't, right? So the picture that I decided to go with, this is the one I posted the other day of all of us in front of the stepwell, right? But then Gemini was just sort of bugging me. He's like, hey, we have image manipulation things. You should really try this. I'm like, okay. All right, take this picture and put a giant capybara in the back of it. Actually, looks good. How do you think about that? So I'm just going to go put that picture in. It's like, yes, I'm in the front of it, but in the back of it is the team, and then behind it is silliness. And I think that sums it up really well.
So are capybaras the MetaBrainz mascot now?
I'm okay with that. I mean, I thought they were the internet mascot, so, right? But I just wanted something that the internet would really sort of connect with, so it was like, bang, capybara, and the image looks good. I should do a good job, right? Anyways, thank you. Thank you all. wants to go next? Should we take a break?
5-minute chocolate break.
5-minute chocolate break.
That's a good time, then we'll bring
Microphone.
Okay, let's go. Let me put me on the...
Yeah, it should just be.
$2,100, $2,200 for the last 10 years. But like we started off with like 12 servers or something like that.
Not even, I think it was like 8 at the start. When we moved from Digital West, we had very few.
Yeah, I mean that was like 4 or 5 servers. This is it's stunning. I don't understand the economics how it works, but they're not shoving money in their pocket, handing their fist. That's for sure.
So among button change, we moved from the main database to new servers, even more powerful, and we are now, I think it's running very, very nicely. Now we are, say for a few years, I mean, we have enough disk space, enough power to feed all the requests we have, and most of the time they are doing very well. So it was a good move. We solved a few things in the process. With the help of ATJ, we moved to a ZFS for those servers, and it was an improvement both in performance and in disk use. So actually, the setup is a bit more complex than other server, but it was very well. We removed 2 old, by old, few servers we rented like since a few years. And we're starting to be too small, too slow, so we moved to new servers, Seldan Yamoka, which are much faster. We got a new server for the CA backup project, which is quite recent, but it requires a lot of space, and basically we have 16 terabyte drive in Phobos, and they are full already, so...
Yeah. Less than a terabyte.
Yeah. We need to figure out how to store all this data, and we replaced just a virtual machine which was hosting chat logs by a physical machine to do that. So, and it's named chat logs. We continued the work on Ansible and moved more server to it, because at the start it was just physical ones. Now we have more virtual ones, more independent physical servers that were outside the usual scope and things like that. So we included more servers. There's still some little issue with some services that doesn't fit in Ansible, but needs a lot of work sometimes to get it right. But that's in the process. Mostly, for example, recently I had some issue with Telegraph because the role we have in Ansible isn't able to really adapt in all cases, so we need to figure out how to get this inside, and there are a few others. Another thing we did, and thanks to Julian who suggested that move, it was actually a very good move. It's moving to DNS control. For those not knowing what it is, basically it's maintaining all the DNS record for all our domains through Git repository. So it makes like a level of abstraction between the provider, for example Garni, and the way we manage all the records. So it is easing a thing like moving from one to another. And we started this process, for example, since the cost of .org at Gandhi kept increasing every year since we moved to Pop-Boon for some, and the cost is much less. We will continue to move domains. It depends on when they expire. Some are expiring like next year, for example. So we kept them since it's already paid anyway. So for some time, and we will move to Pop-Boon eventually. I mean, totally at some point. And it will ease, if we want to move from Pop-Boon for some reason at some point, it will be much easier to move to another provider. So
we were with Gandhi for a long time, and their mantra was always no bullshit. And then they got sold to an investment company, and now this is like only bullshit. So we had to go because they really wanted to jack up the price of the .org domains. So we, in a panic move, just registered for 10 years. So the MusicBrainz domain has got another 7 years on it or something like that. Yeah, a long time. So this is pretty shit. Like, you know, there's a lot of services that are just getting shitified, and then we just have to go service hopping. It's really not fun.
Yeah. So this move is great for that. It will help us in the future to move out quite easily if it gets too expensive, or for other reason, like USA crash or something like that. And so that's it. Moving domains to Pop-Boon for now. So what I was saying before, we decreased the number of servers but increased the capacity and the overall resources disponible for everyone. We continue to deploy new servers under the last version of Ubuntu, and we are still few falling behind. We have to do that this year. For example, we have few on 2004, so we have to move them. But critical, but it will be done. And actually, we decreased the total prices since June because we finally got rid of all the solar cluster, and it running in parallel with the new ones. It's a while, and of course, it was more expensive, and it's totally gone. So that was the e-champion I was talking about. Previous summit, it's reducing the cost by while increasing the resources. So it worked pretty well. The fact is, there's kind of acceleration. I mean, new servers that are coming every year are much faster than before. I mean, the gap each time is somehow greater. I mean, so the cost is more or less the same, but we are somehow pushed to upgrade. It's a great thing. Each time for example, last move from Exner, it was a long story, but there was no ECC memory on their server, so it's not really great for servers. And now all new ones are coming with it free, so that's not even an option, so it's great. There's a lot of change on the SSD side because there's a long history of reliability issue with SSDs. Basically, they are fast, they are great, and everything like that, but they fail often. I mean, we changed quite a lot already. and the new generation is much more reliable. So, one thing. So the Ansible front, almost all servers are now managed through Ansible. It depends on the server. Some are just at basic level. Basically, we can deploy the system and things like that, but some services, as I explained before, are not totally supported, but it's work in progress. And I would like to thank ETJ, even if it's not here, because it helped a lot at the start to do that. In the future. About the future, so get rid of all Nagios. We still have a very old and Nagios instance somewhere that is just used to, do basic health check on everything. I think it's working, but it's getting very old, and we need to move to something else. We'll see. It was a goal from last year, so it will move. This year I want to upgrade all servers to the last version of Ubuntu, because they keep coming to every 2 years. We need to be up to date, because next generation, the version 20 will be unsupported soon. So
yeah, and in about 6 months we'll get 2604.
Yeah. So it's we need to be faster. I think Ansible will help in this field, but it also needs some work to get it right, because each the system upgrade through Ansible is sometimes a bit tricky.
Right.
And especially we're working gateways for one reason. Basically, the way we handle certificate now is not that great. So let's more on this. The last move was to provide horizontal scalability, so it's done. We are ready to add more gateways if needed, and we are far from this thing for now, but we have nice increase in traffic, for example, in MetaBrainz. So we are ready for that. And the thing that doesn't work is Let's Encrypt auto-generated certificate, which is based on some code, partly unmaintained libraries. So it has to go. But the move is not that easy, because we are in production. We need to provide something very available, able to handle all the traffic. And so I have a plan for that. Just need to execute the thing. And basically, another point which is quite annoying with the current setup, it's not easy to filter the traffic based on the content, because we are working on HAProxy at TCP level with encrypted data. So basically, I cannot inspect the thing, for example, to identify some request, or based on their content, or based on their header, or something like that. So yeah, it's not right. So I want to move the Let's Encrypt all the HTTPS thing to HAProxy, and keeping OpenWST just to as a compatibility layer, for MetaBrainz, because most of the new web services we have don't need to go through through OpenWST. Actually, we could just use HAProxy directly to backends. So, and we kept OpenWST for historical reason. At the start, everything was running on engines. When we moved from DigitalOS 10 years ago, we had to figure out how to keep everything, and we have a lot of filters and URL transformation, a lot of manipulation done in OpenWST, mainly for MetaBrainz, like, for example, redirection for all the URLs. We have a lot of stuff like this, but it doesn't apply to, for example, more recent projects like MetaBrainz. Doesn't actually need OpenWST at all. We can pull forward the traffic directly from the HAProxy to backends without issue. So this move is about that, about simplifying most of the stuff, and having a better management of Let's Encrypt certificate, to be able to get rid of paid certificate we still have for some domain, and it's more simple. It's more expensive, and really doesn't have much purpose now. So that's one of my plans. And yeah, the current setup basically is TCP, OpenResty and HTTPS, then backend HTTP, and the idea to move to, because we have load balancer in front of our gateways, HAProxy handle the HTTPS and HTTP on OpenResty directly on them. And we don't need to go through OpenResty most of the time. OpenResty is potentially a problem because it's somehow maintained by a small team. It's based on engines, so basically it's following engines, but with sometimes quite a lot of delay. So for example, if they fix some security issue in engines, sometimes you have to wait like 3-4 months before OpenResty cope with the change. So yeah, it's not quite great. I mean, I want to get rid of it. About bandwidth usage, it changed a little bit. We increased by 1 megabyte second the overall traffic, which translates like 12 megabytes second for both gateways. So that's the rate. And we handle now 1,400 requests per second.
How many is our 200s? How many of those are 200s?
Almost, I say half, about half, because many are redirection, and because of MetaBrainz or things like that.
CA.
A part of them are just refused because valid for different reasons, blocked or whatever. But still, that's the traffic increase, and we have a good indicator because the SNL balancer has
we have an allowance of 20 terabytes.
Yeah,
and when we get close to it, it mails us.
So
every day, every month, the mail arrives just a little bit early.
Yeah, that's
right.
Usually
so
it was like on the last day, and now it's more like on the 25 or something like that. So it's increasing. It's absolutely not a problem because that's very cheap. I mean, we are paying
1 terabyte is €1. So this time is like, you're going to exceed your bandwidth.
And the thing is, if it reaches like €9 or something like that, we can afford another load balancer. So and get another 20 terabytes.
That's so not an issue.
So yeah, it's great. Thank you.
So thank you.
So yeah, just yes.
What's the impact of the AI crawlers and stuff?
For now, it's another subject of discussion. Basically, yeah, we had a few issues with AI crawlers that do a good job at hiding. Basically, they try everything, so they look like human traffic, and they come by waves. I mean, sometimes it's an issue. For example, during 2 or 3 days, we can have really slow website. Everything will. That it's very saturating the whole thing. But it doesn't stay for long. For 2 reasons. First thing, we act against those by blocking the whole set of IP. I mean, the last time we had a serious wave, I blocked like 700,000 IP from everywhere in the world. They use massively IP from Brazil, for example, but it's like they use residential IP mainly. So blocking is just a temporary measure because it doesn't help in the long term. And we don't have real solution for now because the only way to separate this traffic from the rest is to find the patterns we have. They don't act for now exactly as a human will do. They do everything to hide their purpose, but for example, they do something like 2 hits in a day, and no human will do that anyway. So we need to work on captcha because we need to separate it. And I don't have much hope in this field because I know that AI-based robots are perfectly able to imitate any kind of traffic now. I mean, if you want to really simulate a human browsing, nothing like that, it's very possible. So, and there are tools online. The other thing is companies are selling IP to do this kind of crawling, escaping all blocking or anything like that. That's a business. So we are doing this. There's no regulation. I mean, we are far from any worldwide regulation about that. So, okay. So, and AI thing is birthing on the internet now, but there are initiatives. I saw recently an article where some people are trying to define new protocols, new things to cope with that. So we see people are wondering about that at the moment, but I didn't find a good solution for now. I mean, it's a problem for a lot of people on the internet and for a lot of people in the open source. But we don't have really a long-term solution for now. I mean,
but right now the situation is stable again.
Yeah, it depends. And we don't know exactly why they do that. For example, it doesn't make sense for MetaBrainz because our data is freely available everywhere. Why do you even start to crawl the website? I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Because they already have website scrapers, so they just unleash the scraper.
Yeah, I think that's just something
analyzing our database requires more
But
work.
still, it's just like set up MetaBrainz Docker, and you've got the web pages and everything, set it on that, but they're just like, oh no, that will be extra work, we'll just screw you. Okay, anyway.
So the reason they don't do that is because if they set it up and they start eating up our data, then they have to pay us. And they won't.
Yeah.
So we are thinking about different kind of solution, but each time we look for something, it's always very complicated to set up. And to be honest, I don't think it will stand for long because the mindset they have is to avoid any blocking, whatever is the cost and things like that. And so you can buy like for 20 euros now, you can buy like 100,000 IP from residential IP. It's very cheap, and a launchable from whatever cloud data center, and yeah, you can scan over the world wide.
Akira mentioned in the chat that can we poison the well? Is that something that we're
not really?
Because we could fill the HTML page with non-user visible content that's gonna make it less useful.
No. I mean,
it's something people are starting to do. So
the real hope I've got is that the AI bubble crashes and it's just not economically viable due to design. That's what I hope.
Yeah, but that could be in 10 years. That could be in 10 years.
It could just as easily be in 10 days.
I'm much closer to 10 days than 10 years.
Yeah. In the meantime, just wait.
No, but the cloud approach is some people are thinking about actually providing the data they want and with a certain protocol and saying, okay, a bit like, you know, when we were having some RGP protocol or thing like that, or sharing. So basically having a protocol for AI bots and AI bots, and so they can get the data they want and don't have to push the limits on, you know, classic website and things like that. Because that's the real problem is not they are crawling. They are crawling without a mindset which is avoiding any limits. So that in your any robots .txt. So basically they scroll everything. For example, on MetaBrainz, we have a robot.txt saying, for example, to Googlebot, don't crawl this page because AI bots don't care about that. So it puts some pressure on the website that they shouldn't actually put. And for now, yeah, we cannot even know why and where and who is behind. For example, there was a study recently about cloud, I think that's the cloud AI thing. And cloud is apparently acting as one side is legal crawling, that is identified robots and things like that, but they are doing like hidden crawling too. and some researchers made an article about that because basically they give the impression they are respecting the rules, but in practice they play on both sides, you know. And yeah, it's the problem. And many AI companies are not even identified now. I mean, they are plenty everywhere. So why move forward? We don't know. So just for us, it's just more traffic. This traffic is not for our users and it costs us a lot. So yeah, we could increase our capacity.
Rob, did you ever hear back from Fastly?
No.
Shoot.
No, I've never heard anything back. I mean,
That's unfortunate.
I should check my spam box, I suppose. But
There was we were thinking about Cloudflare or tools like that. But the thing is, recently I went to see if I want to buy a crawler, boat, or thing like that from a company. Some are selling the thing and saying we avoid even Cloudflare protection. So that's a comment on that one. You know,
that's why I was asking about poisoning the content, because it seems unlikely that we're going to be able to control.
But the thing is, will perhaps hurt more. I mean, all our users, or we can, because we cannot really distinguish the traffic coming from those bots, but legal traffic at the start. It's almost impossible.
That's not what I'm suggesting. What I'm suggesting is that you have in the HTML page some content that's not visible by the user, and that will only be visible by something that parses the HTML page. And then make our data useless because there's so much crap in there. If you're just scraping, that maybe they realize, that it makes no sense. The data is unusable. Let's stop doing
it. Exclude like leaky bot, like Google bot, something like that from that, so they don't see this crap. I don't know. We can try. I mean,
like at least you could try to put that everywhere that's supposed to be blocked by robots, so anyone who's respecting robots won't get it.
I think we should do, now we're getting into the AI discussion, which we set aside as one. So shall we wrap up and move on to the next person? Who wants to go next, or do we have another emergency chocolate break we need to have?
I can go next.
Go. Jade, I think the microphone is a little overdriven. I see it continuing.
Ignore that one.
Okay. That one's going red too.
Yeah, that one is the one that matters, but there's not much I can do about that. What I can try to do is just move it back a bit, but
Certification in Columnus with the authors.
Hi everybody. This year is the quiet year of BookBrainz. I know we talked pretty much exactly 1 year ago about how we were going to focus on BookBrainz this year. That did not happen. I, as a matter of fact, worked a lot less on BookBrainz this year, which we're going to see in the statistics that come. The community doesn't care though. There's more discussions happening and more community build up. Same slide as last year. There's one item crossed. Good job, Cameron. The rest of the items are exactly as is and haven't really made any progress in furthering those projects. I worked on the API a little bit to get it ready to be in production. So unfortunately, that's the state of BookBrainz this year is the same state as last year, which isn't dire or anything, but it's at a standstill. As I said, the community doesn't care. It looks like there's a same amount of slow increase in general numbers of users that are signing up, which means that they're hearing about it from somewhere, and there's a slow snowball effect,
That's good.
which is good. It's, I think a little bit less data entry this year. I think it's also because we have a small community and the users that have been very active are slowly going to run out of their collections to add. And yeah, so I don't exactly know who was there in June, doubling the size of the database, but good job to whoever that was. As I said, small community. It's basically the same people on the leaderboard, except for Jay Willikers, who joined in December last year and is now number 2.
Okay.
So my assumption is that that's who's been adding everything in June.
Yeah.
Pete Bryan is number 2. That's good.
Yeah. So there you go. The breakdown of new entities added by entity type. This is the height, I think, in April, and basically we're seeing same sort of breakdown as before. Fewer new authors, and new publishers, which it's about expected that you'd run out of those faster than you would works or editions or edition groups for those same authors. Pretty much exactly what I said. These were my stats from last year, so we can see the number of, there's more works than there were last year added, but fewer authors and fewer edition groups, fewer publishers. I think the series are not visible under there, but it's about equal. And that's me. You all know how that goes? Yeah. So that's my work of this year compared to previous years. I've been focusing a lot more on MetaBrainz, like was the case the year before, and didn't really focus on merging new features for MetaBrainz. So that one's squarely on me. That's about it. That's what I have. Slow year. One thing that we've been working on a lot is the user guide, because the momentum is on the community, and the community is doing more discussion on how do we enter things, especially complex topics and contentious topics as well, of how people prefer to enter things in databases. So most of the work that I've done so far has been with Akira, who can tell you more about it.
Yeah.
So
You have a question?
This is a comment. This is one of those strange things about communities. When I started MusicBrainz with this idea that it's a test database. At some point, we're going to throw this thing away and start over again, right? So we kind of working on this, and I get to this point, I'm like, okay, I think I'm confident enough now. I can wipe the database and start over again. So I told people hey, tomorrow I'm going to wipe the database and we'll have a clean start on things. And everyone was like, no, we've been working on this for months. Okay. All right. Cool. So I think your assessment of making sure that the guides are correct, that's what your community really needs above new features, right?
I think there are a couple of technical features that are missing. One of them is crucial because we do need an API, because otherwise, what's the point? Apart from that, the website is in a decent state, which is why I haven't been so pushed, I guess, to try and sort out some of the details. In terms of usability, there's a few more things that I want to put in because the views are a little bit wrong for the pages, but people have been using it successfully and entering things.
Short question, was there any critical bug report in the last years? Because
Anyone?
it seems any bug report which was critical to fix in the last years, but because it seems for me the MetaBrainz is just working, and it's quite rare that someone complains about it.
No, that's true. That's also why I haven't been pushed. Is that all the things I have to work on are improvements and nothing's breaking. So my attention is being diverted by things breaking on MetaBrainz, or feedback from people on MetaBrainz, or teamwork on MetaBrainz or GSOC projects on MetaBrainz or.
So would it make sense to gather, I don't know, nice panic look there, but to gather some people together and say like, okay, we're going to go get a bunch of people together and actually write a BookBrainz API in the space of like a week or two.
We have an API, it just needs to be deployed. That's
I can help with that.
Yeah, that was proposing that as a breakout session, as a hack session.
Yeah, even better, let's do it. Yeah.
It was already a topic last year.
It was, everything was a topic last year. No, I think one thing that I will try to do differently this year is that while last year we talked about how various people were willing to help with BookBrainz, I didn't actually call on anyone or say, hey team, I need help on XYZ. I will do that this year to actually pull you all in and help me out with the project. My main issue is that I'm not motivated because I'm working by myself.
Says yes, so if you don't do it, I will.
Good. Yes?
Yeah, one remark about the API. What if we just deploy it as fast as possible with the disclaimer that it's an alpha version and we are going to improve it?
I think that's totally fine.
Because I think it's a bit dated already and there are probably a few design decisions which are not optimal.
I think that's fine
too. We still have a
too.
chance to fix that without having breaking API change and catching people on surprise. But
yeah, I think that's valid.
Do we have any more questions? Because I do have
more questions. Nope.
Thank you.
No.
Hi. There. Where do I go to get to the thing?
Press escape, and then
escape. It's a separate screen on top. Sorry.
I have no idea what anything is on this thing.
I know.
Yeah, cool. You do it for me because I do not know. No, that's the one. Okay. So what do I press to get to next?
Spacebar.
Just hit space. Big space bar.
Big space. Okay. Okay. So. As he mentioned, we decided on what we was going to do documentations. So I did start working on that, set up my stuff, get something and all that. We've got a good start. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done. And the community feedback that we've been doing has been the most important thing. We looked into how the documentation looks. And currently, he did a lot of work on that, on the way it looks. I worked on author and works and editions, still working on that. And the pages initially in the reader docs looked very different. There were problems accessing it and so. So Monkey has also, the few things he has done is that he has appearances and references that are in the thing, links in docs, and there was also a problem with new lines. These are things that he has installed plugins into the thing. He has made the thing look different. And this is now what it looks like, roughly. And you have the links of different entities, and a page like this that explains more what the docs look like. It looks much better and it's easier and less confusing to look at for the users. Yes. And that's... there's still things that need to be done. We still need to work on things. We have done author and works PRs that we have done. Rio helped us with this, and also we're willing to have more people come in and look at the GitHub pull requests, see if they see any issues. And as he said about the ambiguous guidelines, is that sometimes we have guidelines that were confusing or even contradictory. So whenever I go for this, I see if, does this actually make sense to me? Does this make sense to how we're doing today? Some of these things were written a decade ago. They're only relevant to the website we have now, and the database we have now. So it's a sort of ask the community, does this make sense? How would you change it?
How old is BookBrainz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Decade?
2016, I think, was.
So it's like, yeah.
Whoa.
Next week we need to throw
We
a
are indeed old.
party for book.
Yeah.
Maybe you, I'm not, but our projects are old.
Well, that's a good thing. That means it'll last.
It lasts, yeah.
Let's hope so. All fingers crossed.
So the important thing in the future is when we are going to go through this, we ask the community for examples to put into the docs, because when we explain how to do things in style guides, we need actual real examples to explain it so people can be like, but how do I do this thing? I have a lot of experience from MusicBrainz, so I know like this and this and this is going to probably be a problem. So I try to do the thing when I go to BookBrainz, like, okay, so I know that this wording is going to be ambiguous. We need to have a specific example to explain it like this, so that people don't make that mistake that they've been done doing in MusicBrainz. I have some, so. And the community has been very useful. It's still an untapped resource. We can still learn much from them. Though we're getting a slow increase. We're getting a variety of different types of people editing various types of different things. And that's going to be, in the future, a great resource for us. The progress is going on, in my opinion, on the doc writing. And that's the finish of the BookBrainz. I have a couple of slides on the instruments, but that's, yeah.
If I may interject.
Yeah.
Apparently the first revision, the first edit, was April 1st, 2015.
Oh, April 1st.
That's amazing.
2015. Oh my God.
What?
Wow.
Thanks for helping on BookBrainz docs. It's been giving me some motivation to work on BookBrainz.
Yeah, it's on my way. What?
One question maybe to both of you. What do you think about how the community evolves? It seems to be a little bit less discussion on the forums nowadays about BookBrainz, but still a few that are frequently.
That's something that he's been bad with PRs. I've been bad with not least really getting into the community.
Yeah.
That's something I need to do and look into. And
mostly stationary.
Yeah.
And I think having an API is also going to be a significant catalyst moving forward.
Yes.
Right, that changes things as well.
Relevant to the MB notification thing is that if we have an on-site notification on BookBrainz, like we have edit notes on MusicBrainz, I think that will help also. Anything else?
Unless you have something else.
No, that's that. I'm gonna jump right into the state of like instruments, and I haven't done a lot. I've been focusing on the BookBrainz things. So I closed 13 tickets. However, many of them were very complicated and difficult ones, which have required me to do a lot of background works, researching for Wikidata and such. When we went to India, I looked at the Indian instruments, and it inspired really, as we say in Norwegian, a kick up my ass, kick in the ass, really get going on this. And the Vina mini version for the Vina instruments is soon done now. I just need a few last stragglers, and I'll be done with that. And after that, the Vina version has really been the one that sort of like clogged the going for instruments. So I'm very looking forward to that. Yes?
Were the photos we took in India, were they useful for getting
Yes.
things going?
Some of them are a bit blurry, and most of the ones I took myself. But yeah, they have actually, because I have understood that I have to actually add another type of. I'm not going to go into details about instruments because no one is. But Gotivadium and Gadyavadium, there are actually two different types of instruments, so I need to make another one. For example, and I understood because of those instruments, pictures were made.
Sweet.
Any other questions about instruments?
Probably not.
That's it about instruments. Thank you for your time.
5-minute chocolate break, and then we'll pick the next one.
Yeah.
Who wants to go next?
Shall we go with Pecan then?
We can do
Yeah,
Picard
sure.
and MetaBrainz or something.
Yeah, sure.
That work.
Or a more important topic? I don't mind.
Sorry. There we go.
Perfect, thanks. Okay, next topic, State of Music Bands PK in 2025. Seth is joining me to show the presentation, but he will be surprised by the presentation himself because he hasn't seen it yet. So first a short overview what actually happened last year since we had our last meeting. We did a release, we had PK 2.13, we had a few patch releases for that with bug fixes. We actually solved over 60 tickets in the ticket system since last year. That's less than we had the year before, but it's still quite a bit. We had a lot of contributors this time. I was really surprised. The number of contributors is really up. 32 contributors, 16 of them, so half of them was translations, but the rest was actually contributing different patches, different features. And one interesting thing is that we got quite a few of rather complex new contributions of new features from people we have seen before, just popping by and implementing some really interesting feature. We also modernized the build system. Now it's compatible with PEP 518, which is kind of standardized build system for Python projects. So you can use different builders actually to build the project. We are using the tools UV and RAF, RAF for checking the code and UV for managing the dependencies and running it, which proved to be a very, very good move and really makes development easier. We changed the Windows code signing. I think I mentioned this the last 2 years as some problematic part, and we moved this over to Azure Code Sign. There's a typo here. And yeah, that is simplifying the procedure a lot. It's basically the code signing as a service by Microsoft. I mean, we are doing this for the Microsoft operating system, though I think that's fine. Not directly related to PK, but PK is one of the main users of it. We had a libdisk ID release finally. Turns out I'm now accidentally the maintainer of libdisk ID as well. That happened to me as well with Python disk ID. That was, yeah, it was still fine, but it was in need of some update and some maintenance, just keeping it relevant. This had been maintained by Johannes from years back, and we moved this over to MetaBrainz as well with his help, and it's now also updated with a new release. We had a couple of new features. There was quite a lot, but a few of the interesting ones is that we finally got some filters for the main tree views, so you can actually search in all the data, all the files you have loaded. You can customize the columns. That is not yet been merged, but it's nearly ready. So you can have your custom columns, and you can even have columns where you have some scripting to define what data you will show in this column. We have now a unified dark mode handling across all the platforms. That was possible due to some changes in Qt6, and we don't have this special case on Linux anymore. We have a new quick settings menu. That's a nice little feature where you can just have some settings as a quick select in the file menu. And we also have support for unsynced lyrics, something we will probably also include in the next 2.14 release. So what went well this year? Many new contributors. That was really great. And as I said, they were contributing actually new and complex features, not just some random typos, small fix. That's also happening. That's always great, but yeah, quite. For example, all the features I just listed were basically the features contributed that way. Qt6 stabilized even more, so we are more confident in actually having the PK3 built on Qt6. The documentation is still great. That is something that is just working and still easy to maintain. We didn't have much changes on that part this year because there was not so much happening that needed new documentation, but this will come with all the new features getting ready for release. We finally got a build for the Apple Silicon chips ready. It's not a unified build as we originally wanted to have, where you just have a single set of binaries and they run on both architectures. It's a separate build, but nevertheless, we can offer this then. WebLake, I mentioned this last year already, is still a great choice for translations. This really increased the number of translations happening in Picard. And yeah, we had some good experience with AI assisted code in pull requests actually.
One question. So you were just saying that there's a lot of new features and many new contributors. So one of the things that I see, and it's one of the things that I'm basing on for ListenBrainz, is that people are leaving Spotify and so forth, and they seem to be re-embracing their music collections. I certainly have, because after not using Picard for 15 years or so, I'm back happily using Picard. Thank you to both of you. Fantastic tool yet again still, and it would help improve it in the future. Do you think do you see anything like that this is happening, or is it just random happenstance that we have new contributors?
I'm not entirely sure, really. I wonder this myself sometimes, because I'm sometimes not really sure if it's just something someone is interested in doing the programming work, getting experience, showing off, I have contributed to this open source project, or if it's actually to solve a certain need they themselves have because they are checking their own library. I'm not entirely sure, but it's an interesting question, and I have also seen this, that this is happening a lot more again.
If you get in a conversation with somebody and it's just a chill conversation, like maybe ask why they turned up and what their motivations are, because I would love to know about these meta shifts, because like I said, the philosophy on trying to bring ListenBrainz users up is to basically go based on that phenomenon, and therefore ListenBrainz Local is focused on providing recommendations and all these services that nobody else is doing, right? And it's absolutely key that Picard is there doing this job, right? It's super critical. So if that's not really the case and we're not actually sort of moving in that direction, I'd really like to know, right? So please let me know.
Yeah. It's also, sorry, please.
Yeah, it may not be nothing, right? I'm on the floor with like artists and people talking, mostly people write music. And there's this slight increase in people saying, fuck Spotify, fuck streaming, it doesn't count as owning, I'm going to start pirating more music and sell more music, and they buy music and they rip music. There might be something to that people do. Generally people be using Picard for their actual files more because they have obtained files, legally or otherwise, more than usual, more than previous years. It might not be something, but there's a slight increase in that trend.
Could be, yes.
Because of the,
I also find it interesting because there's growing interest in platforms like Navitrome or Funkwhale, or if you know about this small hardware device, the Tangera. It's a small open source, open hardware iPod-like music player. Sometimes called the gay iPod because I think it's a mostly queer team.
Cool.
It's a really nice device, and it was crowdfunded. All of those projects are for a certain type of people who want to actually have their own music and their own music collection. And they are all advertising MusicBrainz and MusicBrainz Picard. When the topic is about how do I get my metadata right for this thing, right? For Navitrome, for Tangera, all of them. And they have basically, I can share a few links, but they all have a page, information page, how do I take my music? And it basically says here, go to Picard and do this, and Navitrome even has some
solution. I mean, for a lot of projects, including, for example, we have some device made by companies like in Canada, for example, making like media player, digital players, things like that, which are like hi-fi device, and they need to tag their music, they need to add the music, and often they music rights.
The thing that's interesting about the Navi-drones and the funk whales of the world is that they're resolute in not requiring any ideas in their collections, right? So then with that assumption, you basically have bad data in the system and you can't do recommendations. You can't build anything realistic on top of it because your data is fundamentally bad, right? And this is why none of these things are happening, and that's why I'm creating MetaBrainz Local, to basically put another layer on top of it that says, like, if you tag your collection with Picard, you can do all these cool things. If you refuse to tag your collection with Picard, go away. Like, we can't help you, right? So, and that's why I'm trying to do this, to actually show the funk whales and the Navi-drones, like, look, you guys really need to step up here, right? What I think might end up happening is that we actually end up competing with Navi-drone and all of these other people, because trying to get people to understand and use good metadata is impossible, because they have all of these shitty ideas as to how metadata should be done, and they refuse to listen to the experts in music metadata on how to do these things.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck it, screw you, I'm writing my own thing, and then to show everyone, it's like, this is what's possible, because if you, and you know, realistically, nobody's ever done this. Nobody's ever really taken our data and built a really cool music service on top of that, right? We just need to do that to show everyone, like, what is actually fucking possible with the data. Sorry, a bit of a rant here, but but we're definitely feeding into this ecosystem, and yeah, every time I see these sorts of services, I okay, use Picard, use Picard, use Picard. So.
What did not go so well? Yeah. Big topic from last year. We need the new plugin system ready till end of the year. That's still true. We have another year end. Let's see if we can make this happen. I had less time available again. That's really, I had hoped this will improve, but actually it didn't. So, and we're also lagging behind a bit doing the 2.14 release we wanted to do, but that's still something we can do in the next. I think we are close that we can just do this. More important actually is that we get an alpha version out for car 3. Let's see how this goes. And also what did not go so well, I had it on the other slide as well, AI code contributions. It's really a mixed bag, but we have a different, have this as one of our topics here on the summit. So
actually, that might be kind of fun, because I just coded a website for a polyamorous community here in Barcelona. And I did pretty much all with AI because he couldn't be bothered to write this very complicated. It's tedious, right? I learned a lot, and there's, if you do it right, AI can be really quite useful. And would people be interested in having a session on actually how to use AI as part of your workflow?
Yes.
Okay.
I've experimented as well, and like you, I think it can be useful. It's just
I think
it'd be good to share tips as to what works, what doesn't, which model, which things, which because there's a lot of guesswork.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the things that I was really sort of astonished by is how to actually talk to it and how to actually, you know, when it does this, you should do that. There's a bunch of things that are not necessarily obvious, right? For instance, talking to an AI, and it says, oh, I did this thing for you. And then nothing changes. Like, what the fuck, right? Normally that's because you wrote a bad prompt and it didn't understand what you wanted to do. So I think there's a lot of things to share on this, but I mean, even with the CIA backup, that was largely written by AI, because, like, I'm sorry, that is the most boring project ever, right? Can you just pound it out? And it did, right? And that's why I ran the server out of disk space, because my shit always breaks overnight. Right, but then AI, blah, 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 it didn't break it, and then Zaz was like, hey, your shit ran the server out of disk space. So, so let's put an item on the agenda, maybe informal session for best uses of AI and sharing tips and tricks.
yeah. Maybe after we have talked about how to deal with the AI stuff.
Yes, yeah.
AI can't be cool.
And yes, is the air conditioner in that room working?
It's on. I don't know if it's
But it's not working, so can you please close the doors? Because all of the heat, the cool that we want is escaping into that room and it's not coming here.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we keep the door closed, please.
This is an update from last year's slide. What is still needed for Picard 3 beta, or actually alpha version we want to release first. Yeah, we have already ported it to PyQt6. We have done general OAuth improvements. Now, this is the point that moved from in progress up to done. We have now the macOS ARM builds. Still in progress, the new plugin system. Refactoring has improved, and we just talked about it. All the refactoring work has been doing a lot, has actually been very valuable because it enabled all the features that have been also merged. And we still have the to-dos, basically, that we need to port the essential existing plugins, update the packaging, and I put a question mark here, the new MetaBrainz OAuth. We have another session for that, and that's very good because I currently don't know exactly in what state it is. The last time we talked about that, it was not yet in a state where it was usable, deployable for Picard. So what's next? We will do a 2.14 release with bug fixes, some small features like the synchronized lyrics we can also include there. We need to finish the new plugin system and do the alpha version release. And yeah, then see what we can do about the new login system that was also already on the slide last year. All right, any questions?
Another question, but like Rob, I wanted to say thank you. Last week we downloaded my entire Bandcamp collection and retagged everything, and it was great. It worked a treat, it was fast, it was simple, and I love it.
Yeah. And when we improved the tag, the cluster identification feature, Picard is going to get that much more powerful.
Yeah. That is also a reason why I want to get all this done. Perfect. Because one of the parts we should also focus on is if you can get the identification clustering improved. And Rob mentioned it earlier, we had some experimentation here 2 years ago that was in some ways quite promising and in some ways not so much. So it was not really deployable, but it was interesting. And one thing I also would like to see is that we maybe get something like pluggable identification systems, right? So that we can have plugins that can add something else, and then we can also experiment a little bit more. I can come up with a MetaBrainz look up a plugin,
I think it's
something.
The new plugin system is made to allow more possibilities for plugins.
I have a question. You were talking about LB Local and how MetaBrainz and Funkwell and etc. don't really want to do tagging.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really, no, it's that they don't want to force their users for having MBIDs.
Is it something that we can do on LB Local?
Yes, LB Local is like, if you don't have MBIDs, you get nothing.
But can we integrate the tagging into LB Local?
Picard doesn't
I don't know about command line usage of Picard.
I need to understand more what LB Local does. I have a rough understanding, but we would need to sit together what it is.
So the problem with LB Local is that I don't have a feeling for what the roadmap is, right?
We do have a whole session for that, just to remind you.
Yeah, so really quickly, without going into too many details, it's unclear what you are. Right now, I want to use LB Local to showcase what is possible. And then, basically say, hey, Funkwell and Navidrome, you guys want to step up?
Yeah.
But they're all been very sort of like hesitant to do anything. So if we then push on with it, do we get in a position of, are we a top level provider for this sort of stuff? Which, that wasn't my goal. We don't need another giant project like this, right? Mm-hmm. But if nobody else is doing it, we might need to do it. So I don't have any answers to this.
Yeah.
So let's talk more in that session.
Just one thing, also a little bit in defense of Navidrome and then the others. I mean, I can understand why they don't enforce it per se, right? Because they are catering for a wide audience, and people just want to put their music in there, and they kind of say, okay, we struggle with it, but we try to present it as good as it can. But Funkware now has this option in the latest version, I think, to enforce it. Or is it still? I'm not quite sure if it is released or not. But
I think the most frustrating thing about all these the system is like, especially with Funkware, we try to mentor them on how to use it, and then it's like, okay, the best path would be to go this way, right? And then the guy's like, all right, cool, I'm going this way.
Yeah.
And that's just, no, that's not going to work. But this is where we're going. And then 6 months later, it's like, that shit's not working. Like, go this way. Whoa. Okay. It's just very frustrating to deal with them. Very frustrating.
Okay. Next topic.
So we've basically been going for about 3 hours now. Should we go have a longer break? Should we call it done for the day?
I have a suggestion. I said we go on, and then afterwards we go to the beach.
Gary, who wants to go to the beach?
I'm down for continuing. I don't know if I want to be to the beach, but
What is left of the state of MetaBrainz is left, and is there
Yes,
anything?
I can do in 5 minutes.
You can do it today.
Yeah, I
Okay,
can do
so
in 5
if there's only those two, I say we'll finish them, honestly.
Are you good with that? People are good with that? It would be nice to finish all the state of in one day.
Yeah, we can have how long you said 5 minutes for?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, let's have a small break and then we'll do this and break,
5 minutes.
and then we'll see.
cool, right? In the meantime, for all of you following at home, I'm going to show you the t-shirt for this year's summit.
It's not like
And how many misspellings does it have? 3 or 4?
There's a few misspellings. Hopefully most of you don't speak Hindi, so you won't know.
all the Indians be watching it be like,
Stupid white people.
exactly. Oh, no.
Need to share a photo on the chat.
Yeah. I love that actually. You should put up the that as well.
You should probably.
I think I'm going to put the t-shirts.
Yeah, I love that.
Nicer.
This, who drew this? You?
No.
No idea?
No, it's someone else who comes to work here sometimes.
That.
I guess, I mean, maybe Van wants to come, but it's exercise.
Eva? Starting.
Hey, so, state of MetaBrainz. I mean, I'm never gonna change these slides because it applies all the time.
Socks.
I mean, it's like it's getting more and more crazy. So
You cannot stop us.
I love this.
anyway, so yeah. So first of all, we really want to thank our volunteers. So we have had a bit less volunteer work from last year. Well, less pull requests, but still quite a few. Especially from Darat, who wrote a lot of very useful code. Like he was the one who started all the work on the aliases, primary aliases showing for non-English artists. He was the one who worked, if I remember correctly, on reordering artist credits, like artists inside artist credits. It was a huge pain in the ass, especially for classical before. So that's fantastic. There's a few more of those things. Some stuff for beginners to be notified when they are using the wrong capitalization, things like that, which seems to have helped slightly, which is more than I hoped for, so not bad. And also a bunch of stuff from Tverz about improving right to left stuff, Hebrew stuff, so like quite a bit of that. And we did have also, like I seem to remember, a few like small contributions, mostly from people who wanted to add, databases to the whitelist and things like that. So that was also very nice. And I hope I'm not forgetting anyone. And yeah, we have had quite a few translators. Well, 51 translators and 33 languages being updated this year. So like it really seems to be working quite well. Russian is now ready for beta. Like it went over 50%. I think it's almost 60% or something readiness. Lithuanian is at 40 now, so we'll put it in test soon. And like it's really working pretty well. I'm really happy with how translations are going. We keep having people like, I wish we had the book brain state where people don't find anything to complain. We do not have that. People do find a lot to complain about, but we do try to keep more or less that in check. So like we have had like a lot of small, reasonably quick fixes for things that have been reported. So we're trying to avoid the thing we had a few years ago where I ended up fixing a fair amount of 15-year-old tickets. I'm sure there are some that are going to be there for 15 years, but we're trying to keep it a bit more short cycle than that.
So 15 years is a bad thing. Okay.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing that we are still around to fix them 15 years later.
Fair enough.
Given especially like how many of our style and lyrics requests are like, can you add this lyrics database? And then they're like, oh, okay, we didn't get to this, and it was 2 years ago, and now it's closed again. So I guess it's good I didn't get to it. So 15 years and still around, pretty good. But yeah, and like we really want to thank all our beta testers who have been really helpful, and all our editors, all our users, all our importer creators, which it keeps getting more and more crazy with that. So like it's really nice to see all of that happening. So thanks everyone. So we didn't have any Summer of Code projects this year directly, but from last year's projects, okay, it's getting hot in here.
Better take off all your clothes. I'm sorry.
On stream? I'm not sure I should.
That's up to you.
Anyway, so like from last year's Summer of Code project, we did have, so Jade's email service has been in use for quite a while for some of our emails, especially verification and emails between users, which is actually it always freaks me out when I actually get an email from a user and it looks colorful and nice, and it's like, what is going on here? After like 20 years of plain text, so that's pretty cool. And also like Melba, our external link archiver, it was working, then it stopped working. We're not quite sure exactly what happened, so we're working on making it go up again. So like we're hoping to have that fixed in a relatively short term. So with the React conversion progress, well, we're not that far away from where we were last year. in a sense, like we still have a bunch of editors left to convert, but like what we do have is significantly better. Like we did convert a few pages, like mostly diskette pages. We do have like an open pull request for recording that should be ready pretty much. Like recording edit form had quite a few things that needed to be special case for it. So like work, for example, and like artists should be easier right now, I think already. I think like the main thing left is still gonna be the release editor, which is gonna be a huge pain in the ass. The external link editor, which we wrote in React very early, and it was kind of like a mess compared to the rest of the code because of that. Like Michael has been updating it recently, and I mean it's a really big pull request, so it will take us a while to get through that, but like that should make things a lot better. I seem to remember something about improving the performance. Was it 100 times? No, a bit less, but still many times.
Yeah. That one already got merged. It was for the URL.
Oh yeah, so we did improve performance like was it 18 times at least, something like that, many times.
It might have been like 1,000 times.
Oh, okay, that's better than 18. And yeah, like so all the React components we had are now in the new float typing syntax for components, which actually makes it a lot easier to make sure that they make sense. So like that did find a few bugs that we had in the meantime, and like I think that makes it a lot more proper going forward. Then we did have a schema change, with the only big change, so to say, like new feature was having MBIDs for mediums, which mostly can be used in the future for things like, well, they can be used to track medium when they change position already right now, which we didn't have a way to do before because we were just basically using like the position in the release as an identifier. And now we will also be able to, for example, eventually say like this cover art is for this specific medium ID potentially. So eventually that would be pretty useful. Although I mean, someone needs to work on that obviously. We made a change to sort EPs above singles, which was a pretty small actual change, but like it was like asked for like what 10 years, 15 years. It was one of the most requested things. I know some Japanese editors are not that happy about it because that's the opposite of how it works there. But
yeah.
They probably would want them above albums, singles above albums as well, which was not going to happen. No. So you know, in that sense, unless we make it configurable eventually, that's probably what's going to happen for now. Also, yeah, we improved the artist release group sort because it was just sorting by the first character at the moment because we were trying to be like safe and careful, but turns out it didn't actually make things particularly slower to sort by the full titles anyway. So we just changed to sort by that. And we found a bunch of issues in the first release date data we had, so we just figured the problems out and recalculated everything, and they should all be proper at the moment. Then for search, well, we did have a pretty big amount of changes in search. So, well, I mean, we did add the support for the new MBIDs and to search by MBIDs and things like that. But the most important thing is that, so yeah, like, it's the first time in a long time that we finally have a search release with all the schema change updates at the time of the schema change, rather than God knows when later, so that's really nice. Also, we finally managed to move our search server mirrors to Solar 9 and to update a lot of the dependencies and make it a lot more up to date. And we are finally having this indexer in Python 3, which, yeah, like, well, Python 2 was end of life 5 years ago, but you know, we got there. We got there in the end, like, so.
Slow but steady.
Yeah, thanks Ivan for a lot of work on that. Thanks Kartik for a lot of help in that.
Teamwork.
It is teamwork, but still.
No, but I mean, it happened last year, but it didn't make progress otherwise. And there are also people that are not here anymore. I think it was ATG, we didn't use something, but he participated with Ansible part for deploying the Solar 9 cluster we're using at the moment. And Alastair that worked also on the Solar upgrade. And the other people, but yeah, it's mainly Lucifer, Bitmap, you and I.
So basically, like we finally got everyone involved and like got everyone to push to help, and finally got it out of the way. So that's really nice. And yeah, we have started working in having some local monitoring for the search server, which was severely lacking until now. I mean, we're still working on that, but we do have a bunch of things that are actually showing promise. So hopefully that will be helpful as well. And yeah, so like the next thing we want to do is like replace the live indexing process, which we have started working on again quite a while ago, but those things do take time.
PR was submitted in 6 years ago?
I mean, 6 years ago is nothing. That's half a book print.
This kills the man.
Wow.
It's
I mean, the raise it's a relief, but it's also a shame because like it took so many years. It's and it also blocks other development on the MetaBrainz server. So
yeah, like basically all this search stuff that we just finally started getting out was blocking a lot of changes. So like, so like I think that everything should progress a lot better now. Like for example, we don't even have genres searchable yet because all of that was waiting behind the update. So there's a lot of that coming in. So yeah, like we want to continue improving testing, improving reindexing. And yeah, like as you said, like there's still a bunch of schema changes from like the previous 3-4 years probably that need to be fully implemented in the search. I mean, a bunch of them need to be fully implemented in the site, so we'll get. But yeah, like a huge improvements anyway in the search infrastructure this year. Now, other things in MusicBrainz that were fixed. Well, so as I mentioned, they're at work. So they're made it so that the aliases were shown for artists that did not have a Latin primary alias, or well, in case they have an English primary alias, for example, that or whatever language the user is using. That doesn't fit the artist name, then it will show the alias. So basically, people can stop re-adding Tchaikovsky for the 10th time just because they didn't realize that was Tchaikovsky in Russian in there, or whatever the equivalent is. We did have a bunch of right to left fixes for Hebrew mostly, but that will also help any other right to left languages in most cases. So that's really nice from Dwerts. Like we added a lot of reports, thanks to Yindesu, who keeps asking for a lot of those, and like it's really nice to see that people actually use those things and actually, like whenever something is broken, I very quickly get an information that yeah, that report is broken, so I can see people are actually using them after they ask for them. We added filtering to label pages, which to do the same as we could do for artist releases. Now we can actually filter label releases, which was something that yeah, like for some reason we had never implemented for a lot of years until someone was like, hey, labels have like thousands of releases, how do I find something in here? We split work artists into writers and other things, so like it will still stop saying that someone who like is dedicated, the work is dedicated for was a writer, which actually also is, I seem to remember that made into the API, so it makes it easier for data users also to use work data. We added the editor stats for the previous year because like a lot of our editors, newer editors were saying like, well, we're never going to catch up to those 4 million or whatever edits people have. But also like the 1 week ones basically are super streaky, right? Like they depend on you doing a lot of work in a very short period of time. So they asked for like yearly ones so they could actually feel like slow and steady work kind of gets compensated in a way.
Yeah, that's good.
So like that's basically the main thing that we added, and people are actually asking also for like new update to see what their position is in the list when they are outside of the top, I think 25 that we show right now. So again, so they can see if they are close and can get into the top. So I guess competitiveness helps sometimes, so we should probably help with that a bit. And yeah, we resolved 267 tickets this year. I like that Michael probably wrote that did not indicate how many new ones we got, which I suspect is probably more than that, but no one cares.
And how many of those were won't fix?
Very little. I mean, a fair amount were duplicates, but like we don't have that many one fixes, or at least we don't close one fixes as quickly as we should.
Right.
Bit of both. But I mean, most of the requests are usually sensible because most of our users are hardcore people who have been
doing this for years and know what they want. And know what makes sense, mostly. Also, like outside of user-facing changes, so we optimized the JavaScript bundle, so like not everything is loaded everywhere as it was before. Well, it wasn't quite everything, but we were loading a lot of code that we didn't need in a lot of pages. We migrated the testing from Selenium and from Jenkins and Circle CI to GitHub Actions, which made it like twice as fast, more or less, I think, possibly more, because it let us split the Selenium test into different bunches that run at the same time. So that's really nice. We did finally, after what was it, also like 4 or 5 years of my pull request to delete unused accounts being sitting there, we finally actually managed it and run it, which means that we got rid of, I think it was 800,000 accounts that did not have a verified email and didn't have anything else that basically a bio or whatever they had never been used.
And no edits?
No, like that was, like basically we deleted everything that didn't have edits, didn't have collections, didn't have tags,
Empty accounts.
Completely empty accounts without an email. So like basically like that was basically the safest it could have been. And even if we had forgotten something, it would have basically failed with a foreign key issue anyway, so I'm pretty certain they were all empty.
Good riddance.
So, sort of in a slight tangent on this, I asked Bitman earlier, how many people actually how many legitimate accounts do we have? And on the basis of having one accepted edit considered to be a valid account, let me guess how many accounts we have. I always figured it would be around 1 million or so.
200,000 something.
Very close, 276,000.
Keep in mind that now there's probably also a fair amount of non-editors that have a MetaBrainz account, and they are actually legit.
Yeah.
But I would still...
That's 60,000.
Yeah, I would say I still expect the number to be under 500,000.
Yeah.
And we did write some new tools to fight spam and vandalism. So basically, I wrote myself some tools so I do not have to wait the 3 days or whatever to remove stuff that is clearly meant in bad faith. And Michael wrote a bunch of buttons to make it a lot faster to mark spammers as such, which means that we have basically been keeping up a lot better with the ads. Basically there's around 50 maybe new accounts every day, of which 40 probably are spam. So so we're getting rid of them a lot faster now. So if someone wants to know where to get old toilets, you have to be fast, because otherwise they're going to be done.
If I may just add a small fun fact.
Absolutely.
You could fill basically the entire city of Madison, Wisconsin with valid accounts by your metrics. Which means nothing to most people in this room except for me and Bitmap, but there it is.
So time for the numbers.
Wait, you can't stop us and now our days are numbered? Which is it going to be?
Well, they are numbered, 360 or 65 of them, more or less, per year. So the number of releases is exploding, is getting ridiculous. So we are getting to that's actually already 2,500 or so less, because we did that yesterday. So
oh my god!
So we are really close to 5 million.
How long did it get to take the first 1 million recordings? That took over a decade, more than a decade. Ooh.
So we were actually, I was actually kind of hoping that we would get to the 5 million on time for this, but close enough.
A couple weeks, well, there.
Pretty much.
Wow, it's insane.
So we got 600,000 releases added from the last summit. So as you can see, it's a pretty big improvement from the 500,000 from last year. So numbers are going up a lot faster than they were
To the
a
right.
while ago. I do not keep reusing the meme for nothing. So again, 360 more releases per day than last year.
Wow.
So
I think I know who's kind of responsible for this.
We'll get to that. So the number of releases with AdWords keeps going slightly up. Especially given how many releases are getting added, the fact that it keeps going up is pretty impressive on its own. That means that most of those new releases are probably getting out of 14.
So that's not for the edit releases, but overall for
That's
the
for all.
entire
That's for all the releases we have. So like basically,
That's
that just means
impressive.
that most new releases are getting covered up, which is pretty impressive. And yeah, like as you can see, like the numbers for imported edits for releases keep going up and up as well. Like Harmony is already way in on top of everything, and with like
Wow.
basically double the amount of the next one, which is the Discord script. So yeah, I think now is the time. So yeah.
One quick remark about the Discord script. Discord is actually the next source I'm working on, so maybe you can even catch a few of these users as well.
If there is any chance that that will also not break classical releases when importing, that would be fantastic.
Yes. Yeah.
So like, ask me about that. Anyway.
Wait, on how to break them?
I mean, on how everyone keeps breaking them, and I have to fix them all.
Okay.
More like. Anyway, but yeah, like you can see that it was going slightly up every year, and it has jumped a lot this year.
Yes.
So
9 years to get to 1 million releases, and then 6 years to get to 2 million, and then 4 years to get to 3 million, and then 2 years to get to 4 million, and then I think 1.5 years to get to 5 million.
Wow.
It's,
we're gonna make a bigger server.
Zaz is on it.
Yep.
He's not worried.
Yeah. So like we have actually made it over 100,000 events. So that keeps going up.
Also, the number of new people coming in, new companies signing up with us, saying that they're building a new event system, quite a lot as well.
Oh, really nice to hear. Like we have gotten a lot more events with event art, which I mean, this was released not that long before the summit last year, so this wasn't a full year of data, but still, like, not bad at all for art, for event art, given that that's a lot less directly useful than release art is, since no one is tagging with it. So, genres have gotten a lot more like flat than they used to be, but that might also be because like a lot of things that a lot of people use already have genres.
Yeah, I mean, from the work I do for recommendations and so forth, the genre is like you have to have a genre tag that's at least like 5 to 10 votes on it before it even gets vaguely reliable.
Sure.
So I wonder if there's some of this uptick is coming from ListenBrainz, because ListenBrainz now has being able to add tags.
It's just
on this.
okay. So yeah, like I expect as more people realize that you can submit tags from ListenBrainz, and hopefully it will be more like up in front.
I mean, really what we want to
there's
do
an
is
authentication issue there.
Okay, so like I expect this to grow quite a bit.
Really what we want to do with tags is what Last FM was doing with tags, right? People really got into tags and started tags for everything, all kinds of crazy stuff, right? That's what we want to see happen, right? And then when people start adding, I mean, the thing is, the crazy tags that people are adding are not terribly useful. But if you have people that are adding crazy tags, underneath it are a bunch of people who are adding good tags, right? And so the crazy tag adding is the thing that's the indicator that things are growing and going well. I can't wait for this, because the more people are adding tags in, the better our recommendations get. And like I said, there's an uptick for people wanting recommendations.
Like, I think I've mentioned this last year, but like the sooner I have like basically a small thing where basically if I'm sitting on the metro or something and ListenBrainz is like, do you want to give tags to all these things that I don't have tags in MusicBrainz and you have listened to, the better. Because that's the kind of, I mean, I'm not gonna edit MusicBrainz while I'm sitting. I know some people do it with their phones. I don't know how they do it. I thought I was insane. That is insane. But still, you know, something small like that seems like the kind of small game kind of thing that would really work for adding more genres. You know. So yeah, like that has basically the amount of tags to genres has basically become static. I think it's pretty decent.
Yeah,
I mean, like, it's about what I would expect.
Yep.
Do we have any data about of the accepted genres? Like how many of the non-accepted tags are joining the spelling usage?
Not as such, although I had a lot of the top 25 tags. If you go to the tag cloud, you can check it yourself. But like, if you go to the MusicBrainz tag cloud, I would say most of the top ones are like something like rap, which we basically have scenarios to hip hop, or like hip hop with or without a hyphen, or like rock punk, and like, you know, things like that are basically effectively genres. We just don't have a alias system that will match them to an actual proper genre yet. So yeah, like I suspect the number is actually more like 90% at least, and a lot of the rest are probably fix me. So
yeah, these are crazy tags. Is what I think. Some people use tags for their own personal thing. Like
sure, that's fine.
Or whatever. If there's loads of journal tags and also crazy tags, that means it's being edited, it's being listened to, it's being worked on.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like artists slightly keep getting tags. But one thing we have noticed, for example, release groups keep going down. So like people are not, the point, like more release groups get added and they do not get tags. Also we checked for releases, and actually I think it was also like in the, what was it, 5% range?
It was like 11%.
Oh, it was okay, it was still like a much lower range. So I think a lot of this is because of us importing them at some point from like other sources.
And so forth. Does Harmony have an opportunity to add tags?
No, but it was requested yesterday.
Second request today.
For example, Bandcamp has done it.
Yeah, that would be useful.
There's a question in the chat from Capstan. Is that counting number of unique tags or number of times tags have been applied to entities?
That is a great question that I did not remember.
The latter.
So number of entities with tags. Okay. Okay, so like we have had a huge jump in the number of editors active per week. Like I was not expecting that.
That's 1,000 in.
That's like, yeah.
Wow.
That's basically 1,000 in 3 years, and like 4,000 5,000 in a year, like 500 in a year. So like basically, we have almost doubled. We have almost doubled the amount of editors in the last few years, and like a lot of the increase has been just this last year. So I don't know what has triggered that. I don't know if it's MetaBrainz, but I don't know if it's more people going back to files. But in any case, it's a really nice improvement. We have slightly increased the number of voters, but certainly not enough to cover all the increase in the number of editors, which is unsurprising, but something we really need to think about how to improve. So like that could potentially be a discussion if MusicBrainz people want to talk about these things in a breakout session at some point.
Sign me up for that.
So we literally have 5 million more edits than last year, pretty much.
What?
That's it.
Recording links probably.
Potentially, but so like,
Wow.
recording links are useful. So
Yeah.
and yeah, like an interesting which might be connected to that to some degree as well is that the more edits, like they had been going down and now it has gone up again. So more edits were entered by the top 25 editors, which part of it is probably me getting into classical again, to be honest. But also part of it is probably people being able to like import a lot of extra links with things like Harmony.
Just better tools.
Better tools.
Have your numbers shown and reflected the loss of Dr. Sonder, your Sonder?
I mean, I don't know how much it has affected it just yet. I expect we will see a difference next year because he was around for like more than half this year.
Okay.
And yeah, like so basically the number of long queue edits the percentage of long queue edits has gone down, but the number hasn't. There's actually, I think it was also still like 1 million extra long queue edits compared to last year. It's just that top editors have actually grown even more. So like it keeps going in the right direction in my opinion. It's really nice to see. But yeah, you can see the top editors are adding more releases, and that one is not me, so that's Harmony, almost certainly. But also that the long tail editors are adding the same amount, well, more because we had more edits, but like the same percentage of the releases. So basically, you can still see how like editors, like importers have really helped like non-experts at releases a lot better than in 2022 before we had like this huge growth. So like basically that's again like the difference is impressive in just how much easier it is now to add releases to MusicBrainz, when before people would basically freak out about it and say this is way too complicated.
Yeah. And also even a release added without much paying attention, not correcting something with harmony is still way better often than something completely added by someone without experience.
Who is not paying attention, like, yeah. Yeah, like, well, that is probably the fault mostly, and the harmony links. But yeah, like, it's still, even if it's come down a bit, it's still a significant amount of relationship edits being added by like long tail editors, which again, very impressive given how scary those are. And that's it for today. And maybe I just wanted to dedicate it to
I think at some point the stoners amongst us would like to have a memorial smoke out in the honor of Dr. Sonder.
Yeah.
Let me know. Let's
Yes,
do that.
I would like that.
All right.
So any questions? If I move long enough, so probably not. But
Hey, it was good entertainment. Thank you. I mean, there were a lot of like, what, really? moments for me. So yeah.
people actually like this shit you built, yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's great shit.
surprising. No, well, you guys made it great. I turned over shit. it's my pattern, right?
It's steel.
There's actual mosquitoes still?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So I think we have MetaBrainz left.
Yeah,
And then we can maybe rest.
And then we're done with the day.
Yes.
Can we go get some
And then we
Chinese?
go to the beach.
Am I missing
Chinese
something, or
food
did
for
we
dinner?
say LD would be tomorrow?
Hmm?
Or didn't we say LD would be tomorrow? For
That's
Sunday?
because he wasn't going to be ready.
Oh, okay.
I sent the slides link. Can you add it to the drive?
You said.
If you have a Google slide deck, just share it with Jade at MetaBrainz.org, and then it'll pop up here.
There's a.
At MetaBrainz.org, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's already shared.
Okay, then it should already be on the slides right there.
Anyway, the link is in
Oh, it's nice to
the
think
channel
so.
otherwise.
Sorry?
The link is, is in the
Gonna
channel.
add a shortcut to it?
Yep.
This one?
Yep.
Cool.
Okay.
Hi everyone, welcome to State of MusicBrainz 2025. So this year we have had a lot of growth. Currently we have 1.39 billion listens in MusicBrainz, and just to give some perspective to that, last year we only had 960 million. So like 25% of all the listens in MusicBrainz have been added since the last summit. Similarly, we have all-time users at 57.5k, and 22,000 of those users have just registered in the last 1 year.
Whoa.
Oh, that's not bad.
Wow.
Wow.
That's nearly 50% user growth in a year?
Yeah, sort of. I wonder if this is linked. I actually intend to draw a graph.
A billion? For real?
Yeah, 1.4 billion almost.
Yeah.
In all of this last year?
All.
Time.
That's
All
insane
time.
though.
Yep. So I intend to draw a graph and maybe later see if like we can identify some months in which the user growth was particularly much, because Libre.fm has a sunset, so it's possible some of the users are migrating, but yeah, we'll see. For the pull requests, uncannily, we also had 387 pull requests last year, and see, the release is also like 65, 67, so yeah. So with the user growth, the most common question that we have received is, where are my stats? So one of the things that we did this year, well mostly Monkey did that, was adding pop-ups everywhere explaining and linking to documentation on when stats, recommendations and everything else is generated. Other than that, a lot of the times Spark cluster or other moving components in the stats pipeline go down, so we added increased monitoring for it. Still a lot of work to do on that end, but yeah, it's definitely better than last year. I also added incremental stats generation. So basically, the process to generate stats is pretty fast now. And listens deletion is handled more proactively in stats. Earlier you had to wait like 15 days for deleted listens to be removed from your statistics. Now it's like every day. So yeah, but one of the things that's not handled yet is like if you manually map your listen to a different recording in MetaBrainz, that's currently not reflected in stats at all. So that's one thing that we need to work on. And also, also we had a GSOC project this year by Holy Cow, which added plenty of new stats to ListenBrainz.
Cool stuff.
And yep, so here's a picture of all of these. We have music by decade. You can also click on the bar and see all the years in that decade. Then there's artist evolution. You can see how your music tastes have changed for artists over the years. There's genre activity and artist activity.
Holy cow, that's a lot of stats.
Yeah. Holy cow, Indian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're getting to the point where people are going to finally shut up about, well, Last FM stats are still better.
Last FM stats sucks.
I think now we're at the point where, like, you know, the new stats that we've got, I think we're going to get a lot less of those sorts of complaints.
I think the complaint now again would be mapping, like having duplicates in the stats.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, once we improve the mapping, it should be even better.
I mean, the mapping is going to be
The only
so much
problem was the
better.
mapping.
Yeah.
Once we fix the mapping, these stats are so gorgeous. Yes.
Yeah. And so the most of the next work was in Brainz Player. So we have the mobile revamp of Brainz Player. Ansh and Monkey did a lot of great work on that. So yeah, that. And in addition to that, we also have 3 new playback services in Brainz Player thanks to 2 GSOC projects. Amanullah added playback from Funkwhale and Navidrome, and Rayan added playback from Internet Archive. So you can play your collections from your own server, and also for Internet Archive. For Internet Archive, currently we only support 78 RPMs, but it's still pretty cool. And we also have some persistent settings for Brainz Player, so you don't need to change them every time.
Oh, cool. That is so. I need to check that out now.
So other than that, playlists, we have playlist covers now. You can select a layout and a playlist cover will be automatically generated using the cover art of all the tracks in that playlist.
So cool.
There's a list view to view playlists, and unlike other vendors who like to lock you in, you can just import and export your playlist to any platform. So this year we added support for Apple Music and SoundCloud. So these were actually GSOC projects that started like 2 years ago, but we never got to finishing the integration. So yeah, last year we finally got them integrated. It's not perfect yet, but at least it's working now.
Yeah, the matching engine for this really isn't very great. It's just sort of very hidgely-pidgely. This needs to be, with the knowledge I've gained with the new mapper, I'm going to write a generalized mapping engine for matching, this to this database to this database, and it's all going to happen on the back end, so we don't have to play this moving around in the front end anymore. And it's going to be with all of the tricks in my tool bag. So that's going to be something I can work on next year, and then this is going to really go up.
Yeah, I was just going to say, now that we have more relationships thanks to Harmony for like links to tracks, that might be a good thing to pull through for when they're available.
Yeah, I think that's going to be another thing to do as well. Now we finally have the right data.
That was what I was going to say, is that using MetaBrainz is new and loads of
Yeah,
links.
because
and
now
control
we're
for
really
MetaBrainz.
starting, like,
Database.
Monkey's been wanting this for a long time, but I've been pushing back. It's like, it's statistically insignificant.
Not
It no
anymore.
longer is statistically insignificant.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
So we also have new ways to import listens into ListenBrainz. We have a continuous importer for Last.fm and Libre.fm, like we used to have for Spotify. So you can just connect your Last.fm account and we'll continuously sync the listens. We added the same functionality for Libre.fm, but then it was announced just a couple of weeks after that Libre.fm is being shut down. But thankfully, we also have file-based importers. We contacted the maintainer for Libre.fm, and he's working on adding exports to the site so that existing users can export their listens in CSV format, and we have Libre.fm importer. So all of the users who want to migrate from Libre.fm to ListenBrainz can do that very seamlessly. And this was based on the file-based importers added for Spotify and ListenBrainz by Sovid in his GSOC project. And one of the things that we used to have a couple of years ago was that you could view the status of your imports, but when the ListenBrainz was revamped, the UI, we forgot to add that back, and last year we finally got to adding the status of the imports again.
I think we only had status for the importer that ran in your web page.
Yep.
So we completely redid it so that it runs on the back end instead, and we didn't have progress for those.
Yep, and now we have progress for that as well.
That's good.
And yeah, so the OAuth provider. So yeah, when I was hired by Rob in 2021, I was given 3 projects. One of those was OAuth, and yeah, 4 years later, finally, we are halfway there. So we have an OAuth provider in under MetaBrainz.org. Finally, ListenBrainz, BookBrainz, and CritiqueBrainz are already using that OAuth provider. The main thing that is pending now is migration of user data from MusicBrainz to MetaBrainz.org, and finally we can have one account all of MetaBrainz. So yeah, that's there. Another request related to OAuth was listen submission, and that is already possible. So like you can generate an OAuth app from MetaBrainz.org, and you can connect it to your local pair, and you can just start submitting listens using OAuth.
But I gotta say, I'm really appreciating that all of you guys have got a flex of like, yeah, I have been slacking on this task for 4 years. You know, in any other organization, you'd get fired for that shit.
You forgot 4 more years pending, that means.
Don't go there. I mean, we have too many. I mean, what is the oldest bug in MusicBrainz now? It's gotta be more than 15 years old.
I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Can we look that up? I'm curious.
So, and some other small improvements. User flare was added last year. So, yeah, you can set user flares, and that will be visible across the site. We have background user data exports. So, for a couple of years, users who had a lot of listens were unable to export their listens from ListenBrainz because everything was done in a single web request, and then the request would time out, so you would never be able to complete your export. Now that's all done on the back end, so yeah, users can finally export their data again. Year in Music 2024 was pretty much similar to Year in Music 2023, except we added a new graph to visualize genres. Monkey added open graph meta tags, so when you share ListenBrainz pages on various social media, you get a nice preview of the page.
This was also side by side with adding Atom support, Atom or RSS, so that you have to.
Oh yeah, I think I deleted that slide by mistake. Yeah, so we also had a GSOC project a couple of years ago, or maybe last year, to add RSS feeds to ListenBrainz, and that was finally integrated last year. So now you can generate RSS feeds for new listens and statistics. So yeah, that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, I know a few people.
And new releases.
New releases too. And we have a couple of feed improvements. So in the feed you could see what listens the users you are following are listening to, but that was pretty computationally expensive to retrieve, so the feed wouldn't load very fast, which is not a good experience. So now that has been moved to a different tab, so the feed loads pretty fast. Also, you can thank users who recommended you a track. You can embed some of the ListenBrainz pages as a widget on various different sites, so that's cool. And you can also generate a playlist for tracks from that artists of that country directly from the artist graph.
So cool.
We also have recording pages and listen brains now, and yeah, those are pretty cool. There was a GSOC project by Hemang, and he revamped the Listen Brains Android app, and the new UI looks pretty much similar to what Aerosol had envisioned a couple of years ago for the design revamp. So yeah. Other than that, a lot of small improvements for which I couldn't find pictures. We have compressed, we changed the dumps compression to ZSTD, which sped up the dumps by like 2 or 3x, and also decreased the size by a similar amount. We have sample data dumps to ease local development in Listen Brains. The track search works increasingly well now. Admins can pause user accounts in case we suspect spam. Monkey and Unch did a lot of work on migrating Listen Brains to Bootstrap 5, and that was pending for like a lot of years. So yeah, finally. We have similarity data for MLHD, and this is or will be used in recommendations at some point. So yeah.
It'll make them much better.
Music listening history dataset. So it's a dataset of 27 billion listen records from last FM. I think it was created like 2 decades ago. Maybe
I think like
a decade ago.
6 or 7 years ago.
Oh, okay.
We created.
So yeah, 6 or 7 years.
We had another project where we actually that data was pretty crap and had a lot of bad data in it. So we had a summer code student to go through and actually make it MLHD plus, because we resolved everything and resolved all redirects and so forth to modern data. So now that data set has become a lot smaller, but way more accurate, right? And using that data, we're calculating similarities. So right now in Listen Brains, you have similarities for user information, for similarities for data listened to since Listen Brains was created, right? But the early 2000s to where Listen Brains was created, we don't really have much similarity data for that. Mm-hmm. But with this data being put in, our recommendations will go back to beginning like early 2000s and will get much better. And then these are also data sets, like the similarity data set, people have been asking like, you guys are doing good recommendations and so forth, like where are the data sets coming from, right? So that's one of the things we need to do, the similarity and popularity data. We need to get them out there so that people can download them, and that's potentially another revenue source for us. Not revenue source, but a reason for people to sign up with us and give us money.
Yeah, and I'm also wondering if there might be some worth in like refreshing that MLHD plus data set every so often just to catch any more redirects that might have been created.
I mean, that data will have to come from last time somebody.
He means like just resolving more redirects and more mapper improvements.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's worth going back to.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, we're generating good data ourselves going forward, right?
Yeah.
This was more like let's look at the past and see if we can actually improve that data, but yeah, I don't really see the need to go through that.
Fair point.
Yep.
Just noting that Capstan found the oldest ticket.
Oh yeah?
The oldest Listen Brains ticket.
The oldest Listen Brains ticket from
2017.
2017.
What is it?
Something translation
It
related.
is will Listen Brains let users translate the site on Transifex? We should update this to WebLink, but it's still valid.
So we can close that as won't fix.
No, it's changed. I changed it to web latest today.
Well done, well done.
And the oldest Music Brains one that's still open, I mean, that's from when we moved to Jira, so 2015, no, 2009, so 15 years exactly.
Okay.
And that's about mixing, like putting together the lost username and lost password pages, which actually makes perfect sense still. So we probably still should do.
Actually, you can close that as won't fix because we are moving users to MetaBrainz and that they will be on the same page. They already
then it's not actually a won't fix. It's gonna be fixed.
Yeah, I guess, sure. And yeah, finally, well not finally, but yeah, we also made CB reviews, Critique Brains reviews visible in more places in Listen Brains. Like we discussed at the last summit, the eventual goal is to like remove Critique Brains as a UI to ease maintenance burden, and like Book Brains and Listen Brains can just use the database and an API for anyone who wants to use.
Fuck it.
So yeah, other than that, lots of improvements, bug fixes, upgrades, and technical stuff done, and lots more pending. That's it from me. Thank you.
When can we consider us to be at Last FM parity? What is Last FM parity?
Parity.
What is missing still? Can we say like we're as good as Last FM now? Are we better?
Well, it keeps going down, so that's the fan.
Peter?
Well, okay, so I haven't used the Listen Frame a little bit because of the and stuff. I logged in right now and I saw my first top track. This is the wrong track from the wrong album.
Yeah,
it's the mapper.
Yeah.
The mapper.
Well, to be fair, it's not like Last FM was gonna be doing better in that particular.
It was doing worse.
Actually,
I
because
would
they
say
do albums. They remember the timing of the albums. Really remember the timing of the albums.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
I mean, I can demo we have a session for the mapper, and I can give a bit of a demo if people want to see it.
That's the one thing I really would say.
And
once we fix that, that will go better.
And the other thing that Last FM at least used to have, I don't know if they still have, and that I understand we still don't have, is per artist listeners for your own data. Listen for your own data.
Oh yeah, that's something I've been. When I get done with all these stupid mapping chores and so forth, I want to go wild and build more playlists and recommendations. And
Yeah, but
So,
like, I mean,
what playlist?
No, like I mean, like basically going to an artist page and it's showing you like your specific stats
Yeah.
for that.
It's
album.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's something Last FM had and was really nice.
So you want to see the top releases or albums you have for that artist?
Yes.
No, it's like, yeah, that, and when was the last time, what are the last times I listened to this artist?
Yeah, things like that.
Okay.
Things like that.
So we're getting close to parity.
We're getting close.
Yeah, very close.
Definitely closer now.
One Last of them used to have, you tagged things, so you make a list, you tag all those artists' tracks, and then you could listen to that tag.
Sure.
So I tagged a whole bunch of crap and said,
Well, you can actually.
LB Radio does that.
Yes.
Yeah, now you can tag it from LB,
but you have
right?
to write in a whole script thing. You can't just tag individual files and then listen to that unless that's been changed. How do you do this?
I mean,
It's
for
a
me,
tool. It doesn't. You have to write
No, it's a page. It's a page on Listen
where?
I'll show you.
but for me, it's even in two questions: is MetaBrainz on parity, or is it better than Last FM? Right? In my opinion, it has been better than Last FM for years already.
Yeah, it ended
But
parity is different question.
it had not had parity because it was missing some features with the social and
Yeah.
showing the information about artists,
Absolutely.
etc.
Notifications also.
Yeah.
Notifications. So I'd say we can probably say that when we gather again next year, we can say it's like, yeah, we're at feature parity with Last FM or better.
In some places, you have even more features, right? Already different direction, different focus, but more functionality.
And I have no intention of trying to reach some magical parity. Like we just want to build the features that we want to build, and let's continue doing that, right? It's just sort of this comparison. People are like, oh, you're never going to be better than Last FM. Or I remember when we first announced MetaBrainz, there was one person who said like, oh, what the fuck are you guys doing? We don't need another project like that. Libre FM exists. And it was like, I'm just not going to say anything to this person. And you know, how many years later? And we're kicking ass, and Libre FM is shutting down, and we're going to be better than Last FM soon. So go MetaBrainz.
Yeah. On the point of notifications, I forgot to mention one thing. So we had another GSOC project that was a sort of between MetaBrainz and ListenBrainz by contributor Junaid, and that already started the work of building out centralized notifications based on OAuth, and a part of that integration in the back end of ListenBrainz side is also done.
Right. And he just recently informed me that he needs to go do an internship, and he asked if he can do it with us. And I said, yeah, sure. So you come up with a outline completely unprompted as to what should be in this work. And he's basically, he looks at it and says like, yeah, the notification stuff is incomplete because da 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 da. And I'll just go implement that in this audit. I'm like, great. So we're gonna have an intern, and I don't know, I'll see if we can throw him 500 euros or something like that. So another fantastic contribution on that front. So can't wait to talk about the notifications and get those going. There's a lot of things that feel like we're reaching closure on just like cleaning things up, and like the OAuth is going to be a massive closure, right? So it feels really nice.
Yeah, one of the things that I would think would get us to parity with Last.fm is not features but reliability. So like currently, like statistics, like the most used feature of ListenBrainz breaks at least twice or thrice every month. So I would like to have a month where like I don't touch anything, and yeah, statistics are working fine. So yeah, we need to improve our infrastructure, we need to improve our code, and yeah, we'll be there.
All right, so let's close this first day. I'm really happy that we got through all of these sessions, and we're good too. Like lots of really good stats. Very, very well done. Some administrative things. So we have. Okay, now it's 6 o'clock. Good time to close. For dinner, I definitely need some vegetables. You guys all really enjoy going to Chinese. Chinese for dinner?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so in order to get in there, what time do you think we should get in there just to make sure we can get in the back into the big table? Should we go 7, 7:30?
I would say no, 7:30 at absolute latest, probably closer to 7.
You think 7?
They're not going to be open at 7. They're not going to be 7.
Can we just call them and reserve it?
Yeah, we can maybe call them. I can call them.
Thank you for volunteering for that. Once that's done, let us know, and then that's when we go to dinner.
Is the one okay with 8 o'clock? Right?
I'm okay with 8 o'clock.
Sure.
Sure.
Are you going to be like super hungry? Or?
No, that'll be good.
I mean, there's chocolate there, so you're all right. Okay, done?
Instead of going to a hot, stuffy dinner, maybe arrange something that we can go to the beach or somewhere there.
I mean, I'm down with going to the beach, but I'm not particularly feeling it today. So, but I can.
Same for me actually. I mean, if someone wants to go, sure.
Yeah.
Anyone wants to go to the beach? I want to go to the beach.
I mean, let's make a point of going to the beach tomorrow. I'm totally down with that because I've been going swimming a lot, and with all of this, I've been missing it. So I'm totally down with that. So let's close the stream for now, and so we'll be back with a session aimed at Simon tomorrow at 1 p.m. And then we'll do more sessions in the afternoon. We'll just schedule it from there. Okay. Thank you everyone online. Thanks everyone here, and thanks Jade for being our streaming.
Yeah, like, I don't know if it's the captain saying that mapping Last.fm has been getting worse and worse, so actually it might be better by now.
I mean, mapping is hard to do.
Especially cross-language.
Yeah. But
I genuinely think it's once we fix the map number for our last one thing.